Tradoon.
Hello, I'm Sam Neill from Jurassic Park. Let's protect our fossils, because if they're removed, America loses them forever.
And it's therefore likely that we're here today because, by the luck of the draw, dinosaurs who had been dominant over mammals in ordinary times got felled in a mass extinction.
Hello. Hello. Without a doubt, you came here today to learn about the most extraordinary group of animals that have ever appeared on this planet, the dinosaurs. But today, in contrast to those magnificent beasts, the creature we will be examining is admittedly less impressive, even puny in stature at less than 2 meters tall. It is a paleontologist. Normally, it is elusive, but now, using the latest in streaming technology, we can see for ourselves. Shall we?
Hello there, everybody, and welcome back to Paleontologizing.
Feeding almost entirely on plants, it has no sharp claws or fearsome teeth.
There you go.
Being so preoccupied with the study of ancient life, the fossil scientist seems to exist only to dig up, examine, and discuss fossils.
This is the same dinosaur.
Although many of his kind are shy and reclusive, ours here has learned to communicate over vast distances, broadcasting his strange sounds far and wide.
Ankylosaurus and Triceratops, Tyrannosaurus Rex. It is indeed true in human face bone, birds are dinosaurs.
His bizarre display is fascinating to watch.
Now this next
Creatures like this are quite rare, requiring very specific conditions to survive.
Buddy, thanks for the hydrate. Welcome to Paleontologizing. Pretty cool, right?
So that it does not die out like the fossil organisms which it studies, we must work to protect this rare and curious creature from extinction.
Well, hello, everybody. And MS Coggins, thank you for the 10 months of support there. Thank you very, very much. Welcome to my new office. I've been working hard all weekend trying to get this set up. Hopefully you can see and hear me right now. But, welcome. Man, it was a lot of work, but we are here. Thank you for all of the support, everybody, and helping me get to this point. Pretty excited about this. So far, we've only got the one camera setup. I tried to do some other ones this morning. OBS was not having it. So, we will continue to build on this as time goes on. But for right now, not too shabby. You can't see, but behind me, I've got my bookcases up with almost all of my books upon them. So I am feeling right at home here. I'm pretty excited about that. Hopefully the sound doesn't sound too much different. This is a lot different from my old office. Much less carpeting, fewer things on the walls, but this is going to be a really, really good space. And I cannot wait to continue to bring science outreach and education to you 5 days a week from here. There's a lot of potential in this new place. And we're going to be introducing new camera angles and new stream features and all kinds of stuff over the next few weeks and months, so stay tuned. Anyway, welcome to Paleontologizing, especially to anybody who might be new today. If you're here for the very first time, then welcome, welcome. My name is Danny Anduza. I'm a dinosaur paleontologist. You probably know already that a paleontologist is a fossil scientist. So a scientist who works on the preserved, fossilized remains of ancient life. It's not just dinosaurs. Most paleontologists don't work on dinosaurs. I do, but the vast majority of paleontologists work on other kinds of critters. Everything from ancient plants to fossil bacteria, fossil mammals, various invertebrates, fossil dung. Any remains of ancient life that's been preserved in the fossil record is the domain of paleontologists, and chances are there is some paleontologist where she specializes in that particular thing, whatever it is. I work on dinosaurs in particular, though. As a dinosaur paleontologist, I study dinosaurs, I publish on them in the scientific literature, and now, 5 days a week, I stream about dinosaurs and paleontology in general, and science in general, here on Twitch. That extends to going out and digging up dinosaurs during the summers and live streaming like I was doing this past summer. Check out the YouTube page if you want to see some of those recordings of those streams. They were a ton of fun. Anyway, Claire Burr says I love the wall. Thank you, Claire. Yeah. I can do a lot with this. Pretty excited about that. Yeah. And Ragnarocker, yeah, I streamed about that a couple Fridays ago. Check out the YouTube page, Ragnarocker, if you want to see that that VOD. Let me scroll up. I was going to scroll up to the top, but it won't let me go all the way to the top anymore. Let me just say hello to who is here. Claire Burr and Lenina, how are both of you doing? I hope you're having a great day. Hope you had a great weekend. It's good to be back. I know I wasn't streaming on Thursday and Friday. Busy moving. But I had a good weekend. Busy weekend. And I'm excited you're here. Hope you had a great weekend too. Harissa Mapont, how are you doing, Harissa? Welcome. Welcome. Danish Viking. What's shaking with you? Good to have you here. Gojira 1000. How are you, Gojira? Golganek. How are you doing, Golganek? Howdy, howdy. I hope you're doing well, Golganek. It's always good to see you. XF Kirsten. Hello, hello. Kirsten says, I need to look at my Twitch recap. We are going to be doing that for me live on stream today, so stay tuned. It's fun. I just got the just got it this morning. Yeah. Biosalad Gurk, how are you doing? Welcome, welcome. Rosand. What's shaking, Rosand? I hope you're doing well down there in Straya. Ash Rubber, how are things? Hope you have been having a good start to your week. And go for Fluffernut. Fluff, how are things with you? I'm glad you're back. HD and HB, hello, hello to you. Welcome, welcome. Alexander Morrison says, here it comes. Yeah, how are you doing, Alexander? It's good to have you here. Todd in Minnesota, welcome, welcome. Chris TS, hello, hello to you. Cat the Couch Potato, hello. And Dyson Dinosaur, well, well, well.
You know that new sound you looking for? Well, listen to this.
Dyson Dinosaur, it's wonderful to see you. I hope you're having a good day. Welcome back to Paleontologizing. And how did your stream go? I hope it was really good. Welcome, welcome. Yeah. Tell me about it. I want to hear all about it. And if anybody's not yet following Dyson Dinosaur, consider doing that, please. Thank you for the raid, Dyson Dinosaur, and welcome, Raiders. I'm in my new office. Just completed, well, almost completed my move. I still have a few more things to pick up from the old apartment before the lease ends on December 31st, but I'm ahead of the game. I'm already here at my new place, and very, very excited about that. Yeah. And nice new office you have there. Thank you, Confused Echidna. Thank you, thank you. Grim Deviant, hello, hello. MS Coggins, welcome, welcome. And Steely Dan says, luckily for the paleontologist, it can adapt to new environments when necessary. Thus far, that's proved true, Steely Dan. Let's hope it continues to be the case, for my own sake. Barnacle Bum, hello, hello. Yeah. And Rylesy says, new space? Yeah, Rylesy, how are ya? Welcome back. And the Protoceratops was awesome. Thank you, Claire Burr. The cool thing about this whole setup here... Here, give me a second, and... There we go. You can still hear me, even though the music is off. But, yeah, this is like a full view of the office. Or as close as we can get to a full view under the current circumstances with one camera. But these are metal. And thus, I can put magnets on them and move things around as I please. So the idea is we'll have an evolving background. It'll change, well, I don't know. Shame on me for using the word evolve in a way that's potentially confusing. We can have a background that'll change day to day. You know, I can remove the Protoceratops skull, put something else there, same with the Archaeopteryx and the Mastodon and etc., etc. But not just that, I've got another surprise to show you too in just a minute. But let me get to the bottom of chat first. Yeah, Lenina says, looks spectacular. Thank you, thank you. And thank you, Kirsten. I appreciate that. Yeah. And Kennedy says, hope you're liking the new space. I definitely am, Kennedy. I'm very lucky to be here. I'll tell you that. Yeah. And Chris TS says, those pin boards look like they'll help a lot with sound. These are metal, actually. They're metal, so they're not going to help that much with sound. We'll see. I'll review the VOD after this, and I'll see if I need any sound dampening here in the office, or whether we're good. HD says, I like your pipe. Thanks. Natural gas comes through that. And no, I did not find that out the hard way. Thankfully. But yeah, I can't really move that. So that pipe is there to stay. And for me to studiously avoid hitting my head on, I'm gonna do my best for that as well. Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, and audio sounds great, Danny. Very close to the old office. I'm glad to hear that, Confused Echidna. Thank you, thank you. That's good feedback. That's good feedback. Yeah. Yeah, and how have I been? I've been doing really well, Ragnarocker. Very, very busy lately. I'm still kind of in the middle of a move, but I'm streaming already, so we're good. Yeah. New space. New living space, new streaming space. It's all good. Yeah. Oh, and Japanese mosasaur. Very cool, Dr. Terra. Juvenile Gorgonosaurus. We're going to talk about this interesting finding that has everything to do with, what is, That's odd. That's not working. Huh. I set up my computer in a new place. Suddenly some of the Stream Deck buttons don't work. The one to start... Now it's... Oh, that's not good. That's really not good. That it's only working intermittently? Uh-oh. There's something wrong with this. Connection loose? What's up with that? I don't know. It's always something. I don't know, my stream deck is flickering right now. The beauties of a live broadcast, you know? I was gonna pull up the ontogeny thing, and... There we go. Yeah, the Gorgosaurus news has everything to do with,
Ontogeny.
ontogeny. Yes, indeed. So,
Ontogeny.
come on now. There we go. Anyway, yeah. I got your Prehistoric Kingdom recommended for me once. Oh, cool, Ragnarocker. Cool, cool, cool. Yeah. And Harissa says, this is the child. Well, how are you doing? Welcome, welcome. Tony is my baby. Hello, hello to you. Welcome back. And Relzy says, are you fully moved now, or still some stuff at the old place? There's still some things at the old place. My ukulele and my measuring cup for drinking are at the old place. And my kayak and inflatable kayak. I didn't have room for a full-size kayak. My screen press for screen printing, a few other things. Yeah. And Dinosaur Dave says, did you see the video of them excavating a plesiosaur from a cliff face with a massive drop? I did not, no. Have you got a link, Dinosaur Dave? We can take a look at that. Yeah. And Cyant Streams, Balint, how are you doing? Welcome, welcome. I'm glad you're here. I hope you had a wonderful weekend. Check out the new office. Yeah. Good stuff. And Lordy, how are you doing, Lordy? Welcome, welcome. It's good to have you here, Lordy. What's shaking? Long time no see. I know I wasn't streaming on Thursday or Friday, so I'm glad you're here. And Cargrash81, how are you doing? I haven't seen that name before. Welcome, Cargrash. Welcome to Paleontologizing. Yeah. And Ragnarocker, is Gojirasaurus a valid species? Well, it's a genus, actually, not a species, Ragnarocker. But yeah. And what is a nomen dubium? It is, I would say it is dubious. Gojirasaurus was like a large femur of what is probably a theropod dinosaur. But we don't really know. It's not necessarily like a diagnostic kind of element. So yeah, yeah. My mom says, congrats on the move. Thank you, Harissa and Kiddo. I appreciate that. It's good to have you here. Yeah. We're going to be talking about some fossil news in a little bit. Maybe we'll watch some videos if we have time. Well, who am I kidding? We'll definitely watch some videos. And, yeah. Yeah. And Golganek, thank you for gifting PaleoMom357. Oh, my mom is here. How are you doing, Mom? Yeah, welcome, welcome. It's good to have you here. This is my first stream from the new place. I'm excited about this. And I'm trying to make my way down through all the messages, get to the bottom so I can catch up. And going to be weird not seeing bookshelves from your main angle, says Texas Cryptid. It will be weird, but pretty soon you could just see the corner of the bookcase right here. But I will have some more bookcase. Like, I think I'll actually use a webcam for its intended purpose for once. I'll stick it on sitting on one of my monitors, so you can get a view going this way of the bookcases with me in front of them. But that's for another stream. As you can tell, I'm still kind of adapting to the new space. Everything is still new and strange here. But, yeah. Invisible Dimension says, great walls. Thank you, Invisible. They're a work in progress. Everything is a work in progress so far, but I'm pretty happy with how it's going. Yeah. Looks like you were streaming from a dig pit, says Claire Burr. No, that happens during the summer, Claire. You know that. Yeah, this is actually concrete here. And this was here before I moved in. I did not add that. But I like it. I like it. Yeah. And adapt, more like. Oh, there you go, Alexander. Yeah, I will adapt the background. Man, I still have a ways to go to get to the bottom of chat. Sorry. And would it be possible for a theropod dinosaur to get as large as Godzillasaurus from Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah from 1991? I'm familiar with the movie Ragnaroker. Is it possible for a theropod to get that big? It was pretty big. I don't know. Like, what in the world was that animal eating on that island? Aside from U.S. Marines. Yeah, I don't know. We've never found any theropods that big. I'll put it that way, Ragnaroker. Good question, though. Yeah. Link I sent in Discord. I did not see that, Narwhal. No, but is that that new giant plesiosaur head? Plesiosaur skull? The really, really beautiful one? We can take a look at that in a minute, too. It's enormous. Yeah. And gorgeous looking, you know? Yeah. Let's see. How will you sing about staying hydrated now? I don't know, Confused Echidna. I have a water bottle here. I can drink out of this if I feel myself start to desiccate. Probably a good idea right now, actually. New Orleans says the office looks great, like you were streaming from a museum. Oh, wrong button. Holy cow. That is high praise. I appreciate that, Noy. That is wonderful. I'm really glad to hear that you like the new space. Yeah, I like it too. I'm gonna do a lot with this space. I'm excited to show you.
No expense.
And Shytown Deek, thank you.
One sub to Astro Canuck.
Thank you for gifting Astro Canuck.
In the channel.
Is Astro Canuck here? Welcome, welcome, Astro Canuck. Sorry, I'm trying to make my way down through chat. I haven't gotten to everybody yet. But Shytown Deek, I appreciate that very much. Thank you for that. Excellent. Yeah. Thank you for your support. And look, we are now only 130 subs away from our goal for this week. Excellent stuff. Yeah. Scrolling. Oh, they wasted a good name. Was that in reference to Gojirasaurus, Lenina? Yeah, I think Ken Carpenter named that back in the early 2000s. Yeah. Lenina says, I think I like this backdrop better, to be honest. Lenina? Thank you. The cool thing about this, I can change it every day. It's very modular. And that is a Protoceratops skull, Billy517. It is indeed. It's my 3D printed proto skull. Good stuff. Yeah. And the rough concrete is suggestive of stone. It really didn't look like that until I put these lights here. So, it's funny the things you kind of stumble across. But yeah, I'm happy about that, Golganak. I'm happy about that. The Enduseum. There you go, HT and HP. Yeah. And Astro Canuck, salute to you. Welcome, welcome. I hope you had a great weekend. Winter is probably not the best time for astronomy. But, I hope you've been doing well. Hope you've had some telescope time recently. Yeah. And Chi-Town says, just paying forward what was given to me. Lol, I appreciate that very much, Chi-Town. Thank you for the support. Thanks for paying that forward. It means a lot. Yeah. And Tactile 3D Picture? It says, you look tired. Are you okay? I mean, I did have a long weekend of moving, but I'm not feeling tired. I think it's just an entirely different setup and new lights and everything else, maybe? Shoot. I know to never say that phrase to, to a lady, whom you might be in a relationship with. I've made that mistake in the past. A couple times. Try to remember never to do that again. You're lucky I'm not prickly about things like this. Saying, oh, you look really tired today. That's like a phrase to be avoided. I'll put it that way. Anyway, it's good to have you here. Welcome to my new space here. Holy cow, let me show you again. And here, let me... new desktop audio. Copy. Let's add that to this scene. Paste. There we go. And let's remove that one. Yeah. But welcome to my new office here. The floor is not even, so my chair constantly wants to go in this direction. Watch, watch, watch. I'm not touching anything. Just a little bit of a push. Picking up speed. Yeah, anyway. There's things to deal with, but I'm really excited about this new space here. Holy cow. And these are all metal. On the back here. They took a long time to put together, actually, but I'm going to be able to change things out day to day. So, we'll have something new to look at every day. It won't just be, you know, this that you're looking at every day. You'll have different 3D printed fossil elements, different books, different framed photos, different plants, different field tools, all kinds of stuff. I'm excited about that. Yeah. Anyway. Yeah, and there you go, Confused Echidna. True. That's good advice there. Yeah. Dark Maw Crisis is going the opposite direction. They say you look so energetic, like you've taken substances. I have some what substances have I ingested today? Some pineapple, fruit smoothie for breakfast, a bagel earlier with cream cheese and crushed red pepper, veggie burgers for lunch. Several substances there, Dark Mock Rises. Family broadcast. Earnestly though, that's what I had, and some water. Pretty much everything I've ingested today. Yeah. Chi-Town Deek says, will we get a tour of the new digs? Lol. Lol. This isn't even a dig stream. This is me in my office, but yeah. Would you like a tour? Here. Come on, Stream Deck. Oh boy, that's not working. That's something that's going to require fixing here. But, Let's have a quick tour of the new Paleontologizing studios, shall we? This has got to be at least, I don't know, 15 square feet? Pretty impressive. Back here, we have books. Many of these books are about fossils, or about biology or geology, things related to paleontology. We have a desk here, on which there is a mug, a keyboard made of wood, a mouse, same material, Stream Deck, etc. Got these metal panels back here. Perfect for... They're ferrous metal, not aluminum. Spared no expense on this, you know? None of this aluminum stuff. So magnets will stick to it. So I can, I can have different things on it every day. And there's a pipe. Methane, as they would say across the pond, flows through that pipe. Used for various heating purposes here in this place of residence. We have a pole. This is load bearing, so I can't really cut this down. So, put some grass cloth on it to help it blend in so it's not in your face all the time. You get the idea. I hope. Yeah. Anyway. Rizadego says, Danny, you're so tall now. Do I need to zoom this out? Is that the issue? Tilt it up just a bit? I don't know. Anyway, yeah.
In the time of the dinosaur, this was a subtropical delta, home of the big plant eaters and of the monsters who chased them.
Beats International.
You look tiered. Subscription. Are you okay? Semicolon close.
Tier 3, I hope, Beats International. Thank you for the 6 months of support. I do appreciate that. Thank you, thank you. Yeah. I'm wondering if the different lighting that I have right now is accentuating under my eyes or something. If I do look tired, I don't feel tired. Yeah. And should we pause the rotating skull command? Yeah, we should, Claire Burr. Shoot, let me do that right now. It's a good idea. Is that on Moobot? Oh, wait, you have access to that, Claire. You could take care of it. Thank you, Claire. Because, yeah. That Deinonychus will only be coming out on Deinonychus-related occasions now. Adjusting a caffeine substance as we speak? I hope it's through a safe means, Kirsten. I hope you're not being shot with a dart gun full of, you know, a syringe full of caffeine or something like that, you know? Team of wildlife rangers with walkie-talkies. Like, yep, I see XF Kirsten right now. You have the dart ready? Yep. Take the shot. Phoenix Firestar, thank you for the 2 months of support. I appreciate that, Phoenix Firestar. Thank you, and thank you for the 2 months of support. That's not good. Why is this not working now? There we go. That's never broken before. Why is... Oh, goodness. Numlock isn't on? Why is... I don't know. There's tech gremlins that need to be excised with scalpels. And a new chair, Golganek. Ding, ding, ding. Ding, 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 ding. Oh, come on. There we go. Golganek, you were correct. We do indeed have a new chair. My old one was really falling apart because I'd had it for, what, 4.5 years? Done a lot of sitting in that chair. And, it served us very well here, so... Paleo salute to the old chair, but it is now... kaput. Corgi Girl says, do you have a window? I do, but it's over there. I also have Windows 10? Windows 10. Installed on this computer machine, too. Yeah. You hardly noticed the pipe, says Lordy. Thanks, Lordy. Yeah. Lordy was telling me earlier, she's like, Danny, if you don't like that pipe, get rid of it, you know? She's like, just take some big hedge clippers, just go, and just, you know, cut that pipe. What's the worst that could happen? And I said, Lordy, I don't know about that. Anyway, yeah. And Fedorasaur says, whoa, love the new office. Thank you, Fedorasaur. I appreciate that. Yeah. And the old location was a bit warmer lighting, says Ice Allen. Really? It was warmer? I mean, I think... It's funny that you say that. It's not that I disagree. But, you know, I think... you actually have a really good point. This is pretty cold, you know? Oh, man, and is it about to get colder? Uh-oh. Maybe a little bit brighter, but a little bit colder? Oh, goodness. Yeah, you know how it goes. Wait, what? That's not what I wanted. There we go. We can do some cool new stuff here at this new place. I'm excited about that. Burn, 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 there you go, Astro Canuck. Yeah.
Protect our fossils, because if they're removed, America loses them forever.
The Devil's Perineum. What a name. And what a Prime sub there. Thank you very, very much for that. I do appreciate it. Devil's Perineum. There's a certain old-timey quality to that. Devil's this, devil's that. This sounds like old place names from where I used to live in Montana. Yeah, but also there's a certain clinical, almost medical quality to that name. I appreciate it. I was inspired. And hi to you too, Devil's Perineum. Thank you for supporting me. Holy cow. Thank you for that Prime sub. It really does mean a lot, and it helps me do what I do here. There's a lot of expenses involved with moving, and you're easing that burden a little bit, and I appreciate you for it, so thank you. Yeah. Sounds like the brand name of an extremely hot sauce. Beats International. It could be. Yeah, yeah. I've seen stuff like that before. Some names I probably can't repeat, actually. But I know the vibe you're talking about there. Beats International. And Ferret Fawcett, how are you doing? Welcome back. It's good to have you here. The name of a slightly poisonous plant activating complex. I love my plants slightly poisonous. Yeah. Anyway, I'm now down to the bottom of chat. So, hooray, hooray. It only took 49 minutes. But here we are. Make a few modifications to our lighting here. That should be brighter. Yeah, that's good enough. Yeah. Time to sneak into the bottom of chat, says Death of Barney. Oh, you're too late, Death of Barney. You are too late. I'm already there, Death of Barney. It's good to have you here. And check out the new office. Pretty excited about that. I like how my chair naturally wants to move in this direction. Here, I get to a certain point, and it just... Yeah. I might fix that in the future, or I might just incorporate it, you know? We'll see. Tila Aurora, welcome back to you. Tila Aurora, yeah. From a brief moment there, I thought I'd been mispronouncing your name all these weeks. Welcome, Tila Aurora. And Gold Star, says Phoenix Firestar, thank you. Yeah. And new office indeed, Rayzilla. New office here, with only one camera so far, but we're working on that. Yeah. Harissa says, I was driving, my daughter was chatting for me. She did a fantastic job of it, by the way, Harissa. It's an honor having both of you here. Let me know if either of you have got any paleontology questions. We haven't even talked anything about paleontology yet, so we're gonna get into that. And you painted the mastodon? I didn't paint it yet, Golganek. No, it's still raw. Yeah. And we can keep the L in. It is Tia. There's two eyes. Tia Aurora. I said Tia Aurora originally, and I said Tila today because, again, I've got a light that's now close to the chat, and it makes it slightly difficult to focus on. Yeah. The coelacanth is not painted yet, but it will be, Rayzilla. It will be. I give like there is a lot of work still left to do on the move. But I'm set enough to be able to stream today, to the extent that I am currently. There's that mastodon there. Nice beard. That's actually its lower lip there. Oh no, this is a trunk. Fall machine. This is a trunk. Oh, you were saying that in reply to Astro Canuck. Yeah, I wonder, do proboscideans, do or did any of them have beards? Do elephants have elongate hair coming off of their mandibles, like lower jaw? I wonder. Yeah. You want a chocolate mastodon for Easter? Why would you say such a non sequitur there, Activated Complex? What could have made you think of that? And what's your new landlord like so far? You might see them. There's actually a few of them, Mayor of Space. We'll see. We'll see. Sometimes they like to pop in, and that's a particular... how would I put that? That's a peculiarity of this living situation, is sometimes the landlords will pop into the middle of a chat. They reserve the right to do so, and that's fine. In fact, I welcome that. You'll see. You'll see. You want the Easter Bilby? There you go, Creatrix Brit. Yeah, yeah. And are they cats? Says Tony is my baby. What an absurd idea, Tony is my baby. That reminds me of, That reminds me of a moment, actually. Cross your fingers this works with the Stream Deck. Oh, there we go. Yeah.
Now, Mr. and Mrs. Simpson, the only houses I have in your price range are in the neighborhood colorfully referred to as the Rat's Nest. This one just came on the market.
This is...
Oh, dear.
Came on the market.
Oh.
Yeah. This was a little bit what, like, apartment hunting is like in the San Francisco Bay Area, you know? It's, you know, it's like that sometimes.
Dear.
Now, here we have beautiful hardwood floors, trap lighting.
What's that stench?
Rendering plant.
Once you get used to the smell of melted hog fat, you'll wonder how you ever did without it.
Hog fat.
Let's keep looking.
Ooh, do you smell something?
Arr! Why buy a house when ye can buy a houseboat?
I thought about this, actually.
Excuse me. Yarr! Don't forget to check out the galley. That's real shag carpeting.
Well, once we get the cats out of the way, it won't be too bad.
Actually, according to the will, the cats own the house. You'd be their tenants.
Just imagine what we can do with this place.
Wow.
That's kind of how I feel right now, like the, you know.
Wow.
Yeah. That's kind of the situation that I'm in currently, but, you know, we're working on this here. Anyway, yeah. To be fair, cats be like that. I am also my cat's roommate. There you go, Tia Aurora. Yep, that's how it goes, you know? Sometimes the cats own the house, and it's on the deed, and that may or may not be the situation that I'm in right now. I guess you'll see as we continue these streams, you know? Wonders if kitties are allowed into stream yet? Golgadek, it's kind of the opposite, you know? There may or may not be a situation where I am permitted to stream on the whims of the cats. Who's Diesel, Ferret Fawcett? Is Diesel a ferret? Because that would be great. And Indrax says, if you live in a bad enough apartment, does it make sleeping in the desert easier? It doesn't make it harder, Indrax. Well, Jump Jess. 15 months of support. Holy cow. Do I appreciate that, Jump Jess? Thank you, thank you. Excellent. Yeah. Are there actually cats? I mean, time will tell, Rylesy. Time will tell. You will, you'll have to see. Kitty landlords sound good, says Death of Barney. Yeah, that was... That was actually the next clip in the... Simpsons cat house. I don't know if I'm able to find that clip. Anyway, Bart had something to say about the cats. Anyway, that was a good episode from Season 4. Season 4, it's hard to beat. Diesel is my 14-pound boy tabby cat. 14 pounds of feline fury there, Ferret Fawcett. That's a big cat. Holy cow. 14 pounds. I had a dog growing up who was 20 pounds. Valentina, Cocker Spaniel. Well, sometimes she'd get up to like 25. Anyway, we always made sure to weigh her because, like, Cocker Spaniels. If anybody here has ever had Cocker Spaniels, I grew up with Cocker Spaniels. My big sister was a Cocker Spaniel, so my parents had her before. Had her. That sounds so funny. My mother gave birth to her before she gave birth to me. No. Anyway, I grew up with Cocker Spaniels, and they are ravenous beasts. They, if there's any unsecured food in the entire house, a Cocker Spaniel will seek it out with, like, Terminator vision. Will find it and will eat the entire thing. It doesn't matter if it's a Costco-sized bag of Baker's chocolate. The dog will ingest all of that. And then have to have her stomach pumped. And yeah, Arle says Sasha. That's my dad right there, everybody. And yeah, Sasha, she was my big sister. Yeah. Orchestran says, I have Whippets. Oh, those are some of my favorite dogs. They're so funny. Also, like on The Simpsons. Santa's Little Helper. But that reminds me, back when I was in school, and we'll get to some science in a little bit, but here's actually a dose of science. Let's talk about that. Have you ever heard of Wendy the Whippet? Wendy the Whippet was a Whippet who was, as the kids... I was going to say, as the kids would say, back in the day, the kids would say this. She was, swole. Muscular. You've never seen a Whippet like this before. I remember back in like, early in high school during computer classes, a friend of mine would take this image and he would always make it the background on all the computers that he would use in the computer lab. But this is a dog, a Whippet, who has a muscular disorder. Where she essentially has, like, double muscles. Not that the quantity of muscles is doubled, but the volume of them. It's pretty nuts. Here, let's find a video. Wendy the Whippet. Take a look at this. World's strongest dog. I don't know if that's true, but she looks the part. Somebody made like a fan video about this?
Buns of pure steel.
Oh, goodness.
Killer thighs. No, this isn't Mr. Universe.
Oh, no.
This is the Conan of canines.
I've never seen this video before. This is nuts.
Brawny bully whippet. Nope, she's not on steroids. In fact, Wendy's perfectly healthy. Her booming body is all due to a rare genetic mutation that's actually given her double muscles. It's so rare, the only breed to suffer from it are whippets like Wendy.
Wendy is referred to as a bully whippet, the term that they've applied to whippets that are born with a genetic mutation, and it causes muscling.
Interesting. So this is probably like a single allele on a single gene. Like this is a single variant of a single gene where if it's a little bit different, it can cause this kind of condition. So this is the sort of thing that that evolution can act on. This is like, it will probably affect like a certain portion of whippets. It's really interesting. And for whatever reason, this particular breed of dog, I think, is particularly susceptible to this particular mutation. It's interesting stuff. And there you go, Victorious, yeah. Lenina, yep.
So there's Wendy's stomach. And you can see
holy cow.
Her hind end muscles are very large. They almost look like hams from the back. They're so
That's
big.
nuts.
At 65 pounds, Wendy is nearly twice
sauropods could have been ripped.
and 3 times the size of non-racing whippets.
That's really crazy. Holy moly. 65 pounds. So, like, that's crazy. That's crazy. And Ferret Fawcett was saying, what, your tabby weighed what? 74 pounds, right? Just heavier than this whippet. Holy cow. Yeah, that's a big cat, too.
Whippets.
I have a little non-racing whippet. She weighs only 20 pounds, whereas Wendy weighs 65 pounds.
And though this muscular mutt was jacked from day one, Wendy's owner Ingrid saw the beauty behind her brawn.
That's so
Breeders
funny.
knew right away when Wendy was born that she had this condition because she looked exactly like she does now. When I really decided she was for me. She was so different. You had to love her.
Look at that dog just. Oh, man. That dog would beat an intruder up. Absolutely, Tia Aurora. Yeah. Look, her neck is incredibly thick. It's wild. And not 74. I know, I was kidding, Ferret Fawcett. Yeah.
For her looks, even though they were pretty, but they certainly grew on me very quickly.
And while Ingrid's on board for Wendy's mighty muscles, not every...
Schmozen puppy. Yes, Arle.
And even though Wendy's outrageous muscles aren't for every owner, Ingrid simply loves her well-built whippet.
There are lots of whippets out there, but she's partial to me, so I have to say she is the most special whippet out there.
Oh, all right. That's pretty wild. And it's also kind of wild that this person on YouTube with 534 subscribers, is not a bad number. Good for them. They put together like a fan video about this, and that's really funny to me. A thicket. HTHB, yeah. Yeah. Anyway. Really cool. I mean, holy moly. It goes to show the wide variety, like the... Just tweaking like one gene can have this kind of an effect. That's really, really wild. I'm sure Balint would actually have something to say about this. Balint and Lita. It's a really, really cool example of just how genes work and how just a small tweak like that can change your whole aspect as an organism. Especially when it's something as finely tuned as a purebred dog, you know? Just one tweak like that That's essentially like for all of the tech-savvy people out there, all the coders in the audience. It's like tweaking one line of code and then, wow, everything is different. Or maybe that's a bad analogy. I'm not a coder myself. Nor am I a geneticist. But, what a cool example. Yeah. Double muscle mutation that gave her 24-pack and made her twice as big as normal. Oh, man. Yeah. She was 14 years old, but lived an exciting life, traveling over the U.S. for television appearances on programs like The Today Show. Huh. Pretty neat. The National Institutes of Health study found that whippets with a single defective copy of the myostatin gene, the breed gain increased muscle mass, which enhances racing performance. Interesting. But whippets like Wendy, who with 2 mutated copies of the gene have twice our... This is just bad grammar here. Interesting. Yeah. Wendy didn't care whatsoever that people were filming her. If she wanted to do something, she would do it. Yeah, she could throw those people through a brick wall. If she didn't, she would just sit or look away. She had her own personality, and life went by her rules, not anybody else's. Yeah, shoot, when you look like that... you gotta assume that's the case, you know? Yeah. Wonder if the jaw muscles also got the boost. It's probably everything. I mean, look at the bulges there around the proximal mandible. Around, you know, where the lower jaw attaches. Yeah, Clipper says looks more like a pit bull, but no, she's a whippet. Purebred. Yeah, and the same mutation happens in cattle and sheep, by the way. Interesting, Javasaurus. Yeah. Interesting. Get her a pair of Terminator sunglasses. There you go, HD and HB. Yeah. Good stuff. Good stuff. I don't know how we got on this tangent, but here we are. And thank you for the hydrate there, Nell. I appreciate that. Yeah. And bully sheep. What is this, HD and HB? Am I about to learn something? What's a bully sheep? Not finding anything on YouTube. Yeah, so. Huh. Anyway, yeah. Gonna get dinner cooked? Go for it, Harissa. Thanks for being here. Yeah, and Rambro. I'm familiar with him, Lenina. Yeah. And thank you, Kirsten Fred Hutch, for the follow. Welcome to Paleontologizing. Saggy Iguana says, new office. I love the panels. Thank you, Saggy Iguana. There's gonna be more of them, too. I've got big plans for this space. So stay tuned. And Kirsten Fred Hutch, how are you doing? Welcome to Paleontologizing. It's good to have you here. Thank you for joining us. And let me know if you've got any questions. Yeah, for anybody who might be new, including UC Penn, my name is Danny Anduza. I'm a dinosaur paleontologist. I'm here on Twitch trying to do some good old-fashioned science outreach. And should we go ahead and get into that? We've got some, Oh, before we get into our science... For those of you who are not aware, the Twitch recap is now available for this year. So let's take a look at that. For those of you who aren't aware, this is a recap for the year. Let's take a look at... We gotta make this smaller. Let's ensmallen this a little bit to fit it on the screen. Yeah, figured this would be a good time to share. And you should put it in your title. Twitch might pop by and give you a front page. According to the email, yeah, Javasaurus, that's okay. That's okay. I've got other stuff that I want to do today. We're not just going to be doing recap. If I'm going to be on the Twitch front page, I want it to be for paleontology, you know? But yeah. Yeah. And yeah, everybody's got that new goat emote for a limited time only. 162,000 hours watched? I don't think I watched that much Twitch. No, that must be... Is that how many days people, or how much time people spent watching me? 162,000 hours? That's us watching you, says Javasaurus? Well, well, well. Yeah, I'm guessing I probably watched for less than 1,000 hours. All told. But yeah, your viewers watching in total, says Tia Aurora. That makes a lot of sense. Yeah, not too shabby. 263 total streams. Which... Yeah, let's scheme that out for a second here. Here. 52 weeks out of the year. Times 5. 260. I don't know how that makes sense. I don't feel like I streamed every single weekday in the past year. I guess there were a couple of streams where the stream died and then I came back on. And that probably made up the difference there.
Did you ever, though, have a moment where it was kind of heartbreaking? I'm destroying... Never.
No, glue is cheap.
Namulula.
To Spartan 0 for my sub gift.
Oh, Namulala, excuse me. 3 months of support. I really appreciate that, Namulala. Thank you, thank you. It's great to have you here. A few restart streams and every day for digging, Lordy, I guess. Yeah, you're right. Shoot. When I was in the field this summer, we really did stream almost every single day. In fact, if you want to watch those, they are here. Here's the Utah ones. Good stuff. Good stuff. And Mr. Carmine Man says, what's the story behind your necklace? It's... You know, our bots might not be working properly today. Something might be up. But this is a sample of what we call Z-coal. This is a piece of the boundary between the Cretaceous period and the Paleogene period. That marks the extinction of the dinosaurs and like 70% of all other life on Earth. Maybe more. When that asteroid hit the Earth, it threw up this huge cloud of dust. And that's what that's about. Yeah. Kirsten, Fred Hutch says, how common is it to find fossils with stomach contents intact? Not common at all, Kirsten. We'll be talking about that too in a little bit. Yeah. Dragon Ball Z. Namulala. Sure. So it's extinction dust. Got it. Basically, SB, yeah, that's a sample of that layer. Maybe I can find you a quick clip, and then we'll go back to our recap. Let's see here. Here we go.
Early life, or Paleozoic.
And Here we go.
And the beginning of the next one.
Oh.
You can see the end of the one world and the beginning of the next one. And you see there is a very sharp, extremely sharp dividing line between the two.
That gray band.
That's that gray band over there. At the bottom of that gray band, you see it's a razor.
Musa Muso says my most watched channel is this one. This one? Paleontologizing Musa Muso? 75 hours? Holy cow. That makes me really happy. That's pretty extraordinary. I appreciate that, Muso. That's excellent. Yeah. And yours, Musa Muso, that's wonderful. Here, let's continue this. Let's give you a reason to watch. Let's learn something.
And this reddish maroon rock, the oceans are healthy and steaming
They're
along just
healthy,
fine.
they're steady, they don't change at all. And all of a sudden we see a dramatic change, which we call the KT boundary.
Top 5 channels. Nice, Araya. Very nice.
The KT boundary, found at the bottom of this gray layer, marks not only the end of a period, the Cretaceous,
but the end of an era.
Of the Mesozoic era. A much
literally the end of an era. The Mesozoic era, the age of the dinosaurs.
The history of animal life on
And yeah, it's true, Clinino. Now we call it the KPG boundary. This video is a little bit old.
Earth has been divided into 3 such eras. Early life, or Paleozoic.
Yep.
The age of dinosaurs, or Mesozoic. And the era of mammals, or Cenozoic.
Yep.
The Cretaceous Tertiary boundary lies
there it is.
These 2 eras.
Yeah, and thank you, Really Rolo. You have a good day too.
Marked here by this layer of clay.
Oh, and Rilo Rolo, you're not saying goodbye, you're saying hello. Well, welcome, Rilo Rolo. And check out the new spot, you know? New office here. Very excited about that. Yeah. And Rilesy says, how many eras are possible to dig down into? How deep does it go before you hit undiggable? Oh boy, Rilesy, that is a phenomenal question. I love that you asked that. Let's dive into that. Yeah, here, let's finish this up first. We'll talk about how we recognize the KT, now called KPG boundary. Yeah, the Cretaceous Paleogene boundary, formerly known as the Cretaceous Tertiary or KT boundary. Just so you know, we're talking about the same thing. There you go. Here's a link if you want to read more about that.
What drew you to this boundary, Jan?
Well, Sean, we're looking here at the very topmost rocks of the Cretaceous. These rocks are literally packed with foraminifera. So we call
foraminifera are tiny, basically like fossil plankton.
This the Cretaceous, and these rocks here are the Tertiary.
Hey, Niscala, welcome,
The
welcome.
base of the Tertiary
Good to have you here.
consists of a dark gray clay layer, and there the life has almost disappeared. And the KT boundary is just in between. I can point at it. It's right here where you see a contrast between the purple and the dark. It's an extremely sharp boundary.
And
something happened there.
Across that thin little boundary, there's this huge change in what you see in the forams. And why is that so stunning to you?
It's so stunning because there is no preceding evidence of anything happening there.
Super sudden.
It doesn't matter if I take a piece here, a piece there, or just underneath what we call the KT boundary. The foraminifera.
Mr. Carmine Man says, how many dinosaurs were thought to have been living on the planet before becoming extinct? Millions? Billions? If you're talking about individual dinosaurs, easily in the billions. Maybe in the trillions, if we're also counting birds. Lots and lots and lots of individual dinosaurs. The number of species may not have actually been all that high, for reasons that we'll discuss later on in this stream. But the number of individuals, crazy high. Crazy, crazy high.
Will remain the same, so they don't change overnight. And
Thanks,
then
D-Time
bang,
Cat.
they're gone.
I'm excited.
So what's that tell you?
That tells me the base of the food chain of the oceans disappeared. And everything which is dependent on it is totally zapped right at the boundary.
Yep, and it's not just the dinosaurs that went extinct there. Like we were talking about recently. Here's an as yet unpublished graphic here. So take it with a grain of salt. Not been peer-reviewed yet or anything. But preliminary data shows this. 100% of the non-bird dinosaurs went extinct right there. All of the dinosaurs that weren't birds went extinct. 94% of birds also went extinct, which is nuts. That's a crazy, crazy high percentage. 90% of mammals also went extinct right there. People say, oh yeah, you know, the mammals survived the dinosaur extinction. Barely. They almost completely got wiped out too, along with 92% of lizards and snakes. Squamates did not do well during that. Freshwater fishes, about 40% of their species died out, and then roughly 20% of turtles, crocs, salamanders, etc. went extinct too. It was a bad time to be a critter on planet Earth. Yeah. And is fishes grammatically accepted, Ash Rubber? Yeah, from what I understand, if we're talking about multiple fish of the same species, we say fish as plural. But if it's multiple species of fishes, we say fishes. So, like, if you've got a bunch of yellowfin tuna, you say, look at all those fish, look at all those yellowfin tuna. But if you have yellowfin and bluefin tuna, holy cow, look at all those fishes. Fishes implies a diversity of species, if that makes sense. Yeah. Actually, I want to look that up real quick. And I'd also love to ask an ichthyologist about that. I had a chance on Friday, and I didn't think about that.
Utah raptor is the most dangerous dinosaur around.
It's sad not to see a wall of books behind Danny.
Oh, Diagonal, you will. You will, because this is the... Holy cow, there are so many books back here. Holy cow. Books. And books. And books. And I just don't have that camera set up yet. So Diagonal, just you wait. Yeah. Here's a book especially for Diagonal there. My books are here. I just don't have a camera set up there yet. Yeah. Oh, and that's interesting. Same grammar for rules for fish/fishes applies to fruits, grasses, and so forth. Diagonal, I've never thought about that before. Holy cow. But that makes a ton of sense. Thank you for that. Holy cow. You just taught me something, and I appreciate it. Yeah. Put these books back. You know what? Just as a treat, let's switch to this, and then there you can see bookcase there. Well, how do I... Here. Oh, goodness. Chair here. Oops, hang on. Stream Deck is only working intermittently, and that is frustrating. But here. There we go. The books are there. I just don't have... a camera set up pointing at them yet. Yeah. Okay, he has books. I do, Lordy. I do indeed.
Settling for knowing what dinosaurs looked like. We now need to know how they lived.
We need to, Yogurt Carol.
HYYYYYYYYP.
Thank you, Yogurt Carol, for the 31 months of support. I do really appreciate that. Holy cow. Thank you, Yogurt Carol. It's good to have you back. And Books, yes indeed, Delta Rain. Delta, how are you doing? How are things? And is that a giant cat pole? Murph, let's just say that I can, at this moment, I am not permitted to comment, to neither confirm nor deny the presence of any giant cats on the premises, for whom a giant cat pole might have been erected. Okay, are we clear? Yeah. Not permitted by the cats, they make the rules. That's the way it goes, Steely Dan. You know how cats are. Yeah. And Nell says, if Danny gets a cat, who wants to bet he'll call it Indiana Bones? There may or may not be 3 cats here, Nell, that all have that name already. We'll see. Yeah. We ended up getting 3 more cats before the first weekend of December. Jody Fish, you and me both. Holy cow. And I can neither confirm nor deny that they are gigantic. At least 12 meters tall. Anyway. Will we get cat visits now, Delta Rain? That depends on the cats, you know? It's not impossible. As big as a Protoceratops? Which ontogenetic stage now? Certainly bigger than a hatchling Protoceratops. You just want cat pics? Well, you have to stay tuned, Araya. You will have to stay tuned. Yeah. Oh, and Dinosaur Dave says you'll love all the Aussie Thursday Birds Day videos. I've thrown up the Discord for ya on the road, so I can only post even every now and again. Nice, Dinosaur Dave. Well, I'm excited to see those. And I hope your time on the road has been good, Dinosaur Dave. I know time on the road can be lonely. I hope it's not been for you. But if it has been lonely, I hope it's a bearable kind of loneliness. It's good to have you here. Yeah. You moved to the San Francisco Zoo and the saber-toothed tiger enclosure, says Tactile. Shh, don't blow up my spot, Tactile. An eeg? There you go, Steely Dan, yeah. Yeah. All mammals are fish. I suppose, alright, Thallium. In fact, actually, when I was at the holiday party at the Museum of Paleontology down here in Berkeley, California, I actually asked a fish paleontologist. I asked her, well, I kind of framed it like this. Like, I do science live streams every weekday, and we talk a lot about phylogeny, and we talk a good deal about vertebrates and fishes and what have you. I said, when you're explaining things to a general audience, which approach do you normally take when talking about the fish origin of tetrapods? Do you say that all land-living vertebrate animals are fishes? Or do you take the, like, gradistic approach to fishes, where, like, fishes are a group and then you've got tetrapods that are not part of that group? And she had an answer that makes a lot of sense in retrospect. She says, it depends who the audience is, and whether I'm speaking phylogenetically or whether I'm speaking more casually. She says, more casually, I refer to fishes as, you know, a different group. The popular understanding of what fish are, with scales and fins, they live in the water, etc. She says, phylogenetically, oh yeah, tetrapods are fish, which, of course, we already know that. But, yeah. But she says that it's kind of split like that. If she's speaking phylogenetically, then, yeah. It was good to hear that. Yeah. Lies to children. Gotta love it. There you go, Nell. Well, we're all children of somebody, right, Nell? Yeah. Anyway. Beeline Friday by order of the landlords. Yeah, there you go, Beats International. Yeah. Yeah. And Mudman says, were you hitting on her? No, I was not, Mudman. Please. Goodness, we're all professionals. No. And perfect ad placement. Yeah, that's how it goes, Tia Aurora. Hopefully one of these days you'll luck into a gift sub, or if you've got the wherewithal, choose a subscription, you know. Yeah. Maybe don't tell your girlfriend she's a... I actually made that mistake once, Steely Dan. I could tell you a story about that. And holy cow, SB! Thank you for those 5 gift subs. I do really appreciate that. Holy cow. Thank you, SB, for those 5 gift subs there. Extraordinary. I appreciate that. Holy cow. Good stuff. Yeah. Here. I'm gonna tilt the camera up a little bit, because the top of my head is hitting the top of the frame, and I'm gonna get bruises, you know? Is that a little better? Now you can see a cord up here. Got loose cables everywhere. I gotta be careful not to chew on them, you know? Yeah. Anyway. Yeah. Yeah. I'm also waiting on a new camera stand and everything, so... Yeah, that's been delayed by, like, a week. Yeah. Like Ios would always tell me, streaming is an iterative process.
Try blaming the dinosaurs.
Spicy hay.
And hey, Risudegu Spicy Hay, thank you for the 100 bits. I appreciate that. Thank you, thank you. Why are we making ding no... What's up with the system sounds? Oh well. Weird stuff going on. But, you know, anytime you make a big change to your streaming setup, like I've done many times, you're gonna get weird gremlins and stuff that need to be purged. So, you know, we're working on that. And iOS is a software developer. Software developers just think in iterative processes. Like continents.
Dinosaurs soon
you know,
occupied every corner of
Tradoon.
You don't finish a planet Earth all at once. You know, you got to move the different continents around, and you know, that's just kind of how it goes. Tia Aurora, thank you for the subscription there. Tia Aurora, thank you, thank you. No more ads now. Thank you kindly. That really does help with the with our Partner Plus push. It helps a lot. So thank you for that. Holy cow. Yeah.
If you're feeling a bit cheated, try blaming the dinosaur.
And Golganak,
To the weird stuff.
I appreciate those weird bits, Golganak. 100 weird bits. Thank you, Golganak. Appreciate that very much. Thank you for your support. Oh, what's the story about you calling your partner fish? Oh yeah, Narelle. Naruel. Back when I lived in Montana, I was dating a gal, really sharp gal, who didn't have really, like, any training in biology or anything like that. She was studying to be a sociologist at the time. And I brought up at some point, we were talking about different kinds of animals, and I said something about fish. She said something about fish, and I said, well, you know, strictly speaking, all vertebrate animals on land are fish. And she said, no, they're not. What are you talking about? Fish are fish. I'm like, well, no, phylogenetically speaking, you know, creatures are what their ancestors are. That's, you know, how evolution works. And she goes, no, it's not. Fish are fish. You know, that's why we have a category called fish. She's like, birds aren't fish. I'm like, well, no, they are, because they evolved from a fishy ancestor. You trace their lineage back far enough, and they evolved from fish. So, strictly speaking, phylogenetically speaking, they are fish. And she just did not want to hear this. And I think it was because she was really smart and used to thinking of herself as a smart person. And this idea that, like, what she had learned in school might be incomplete or maybe even wrong, that, like, really bothered her. And she got visibly upset about this, so I just kind of dropped it. But I don't know. I feel like I gotta have a conversation with her nowadays, and we could clear that up. But at the time, it was just a little too fraught, you know? It was a long time ago. Anyway, what's heavier, a kilo of feathers or a kilo of lead? Yeah, there you go, Nell. And Ash Rubber says, there's no such thing as a fish is my favorite podcast. I would disagree with that. I also brought that up to my paleoichthyologist colleague, and she's like, yeah, I don't like that either. That idea that there is no such thing as a fish. I understand how that could be a good podcast title. It would get somebody to click on it for sure. The what? I'm sorry. Again? I didn't catch that. These alerts, they're not repetitive enough. The what? Rahab Mahakala? What was that again? The what? I didn't catch it the first 16 times.
I'm delighted by the thought of being an aquatic creature. The sea is my home and I long to return. I'll settle for being a phytosaur though LUL.
Phytosaurs are pretty awesome too, Rahab. They were, you know, people say they're crocodile-like. No, crocodiles are phytosaur-like. Phytosaurs were first. Anyway, and Legion 5-4, oh, thank you. You like my Protoceratops here?
If you're feeling a bit cheated, try blaming the dinosaurs.
I'm glad you like that. There's going to be more where that came from. And Cobraven, thank you for the 100 bits. Maybe we'll talk for a minute about fish. Let's see. Let's see if we can find that moment in this documentary. Where's that part with the fish woman? She's not really a fish woman, but here we go. That's what we want right there. Excellent. We'll turn the volume up. We'll take a look.
It became very clear early on in the process some of the most important embryos were fish. Because fish have the basic body plan in their embryos that was to become our own bodies.
Thank you, Rahab, for contributing to the hype train. I appreciate it.
Human embryos, side by side, you'll see something remarkable. They look almost...
And what was this? Phylogenetically? What are you responding to there, Charlie's Dragon? And activated complexes. So hold up. Phylogenetically, we can no longer make fun of people who call whales fish. Activated complex, I was a little bit perturbed by this too. One of my favorite books is this one. Legion 5-4, thank you for that gift sub. I do really appreciate that. Yeah, Herman Melville's Moby Dick is one of my favorite books. But one of the things that I didn't like about it when I first read it was this kind of attitude that the author takes about whales. He's got several whole chapters on what he calls cetology, like the study of whales. And one of them basically is like, well, so let me sit you down and let's talk about whales. So, first thing to know about whales is that nobody really knows much at all about whales. But the second thing that people know about whales that's true is that whales are definitely fish. And, like, it's kind of tongue-in-cheek. I actually like those chapters now. But whales were so poorly understood as animals back then. Melville knew that whales had been classified as mammals back then, but he still calls them fish throughout the entire book. And it's like a literary flourish. It's meant to be... It's kind of hard to describe, but it's done in an almost cheeky kind of way. But the thing is, Melville didn't realize it at the time. He knew that he was being wrong, and he kind of did it just for fun. But he was also correct, because mammals are fish, strictly speaking. So yes, whales are not fish, but they actually are, you know? It kind of brings us back to that moment from Seinfeld. Yeah. Here we go. Yeah, this is...
Diane Dacon from Queens College.
Oh, Diane.
How are you?
Good, good.
How long has it been?
Since college.
Huh. I've been seeing you on TV. You're doing great.
Yeah, plugging along.
You know, I got the alumni magazine. Whatever happened to your friend George? I noticed I never see his name in there.
Well, he's kind of modest.
He was always such a goof-off. I mean, did he ever get anywhere?
Sure.
Yeah? What field?
And Gojira?
Marine biology.
George?
Yeah. And Moby Dick is the first great modern novel, first great American modern novel, Gojira. Yeah, I would agree. Yeah. It sold terribly when it came out. One of the problems with it is that they left out the epilogue. So at the end, spoilers, spoiler alert for a book that came out in what, 1854? But when Moby Dick was first published, they left out the epilogue, and like everyone, spoiler alert, everyone dies in the last chapter. So it's, but the book is told from a first person perspective. So it's like, how is that possible? Well, it's explained in the epilogue, and they left that part out. So anyway, the original reviews for the book savaged it. They're like, not only is this book terrible, but also there's a giant plot hole. It's because the publisher left out the last chapter. And T. versus the Whale wrote the book. Well, because the whale's name wasn't Ishmael. Tia Aurora, yeah. I didn't know. Yeah, French Toast Waffles. I realized this novel just came out. It's been on the bestseller list. Moby Dick by this hot new author, Herman Melville. But yeah. Anyway,
He was always such a goof-off. I mean, did he ever get anywhere?
Sure.
Yeah? What field?
Marine biology.
George is a marine biologist?
Yeah, pretty damn good one, too.
I can't believe it. I would never have thought.
Yeah, he specializes
basically,
in whales.
there you go, Charlie's Dragon. True.
Working on lowering
Yeah.
the cholesterol level in whales. All that blubber. It's quite unhealthy. You know, it's the largest mammal on Earth, but as George says, they don't have to be.
I did it for you. I don't know what you had to tell her that for.
Was it a titleist? There you go, Claire. Claire knows.
Marine biologist. I'm very uncomfortable with this whole thing.
Yeah, with all due respect, I would think it's right up your alley.
Well, it's not up my alley. It's one thing if I make it up. I know what I'm doing. I know my alleys.
It's weird seeing Jerry's apartment reversed.
Well, you came in the other day with all that whale stuff, the squeaking and the squealing and...
Look, why couldn't you make me an architect? You know I always wanted to pretend that I was an architect. Well, I'm supposed to see her tomorrow.
It does almost look like Friends, Claire Burr. Yeah, it's weird.
Maybe she just likes me for me.
Your parents must be so proud of you, George.
Oh, they're busting.
What are those people doing over there? What's going on over here? There's a beached whale. She's dying.
Is anyone here a marine biologist?
Save the whale, George. For me.
I like how they didn't have the budget in the show, too, to actually have a whale, and so the whale is just implied in the shot, you know? Yeah.
So I started to walk into the water. I won't lie to you, boys. I was terrified. But I pressed on, and as I made my way past the breakers, a strange calm came over me. I don't know if it was divine intervention or the kinship of all living things, but I tell you, Jerry, at that moment, I was a marine biologist.
George, I've just been reading this thing in the paper. It's unbelievable.
I know, I was just telling them the story.
Well, come on, George, finish the story.
The sea was angry that day, my friends. Like an old man trying to send back soup in a deli. I got about 50 feet out, and suddenly...
There you go, Rab, yeah. That's a good point.
I tell you, he was 10 stories high if he was a foot. As if sensing my presence, he let out a great bellow. I said, "Easy, big fella." And then, as I watched him struggling, I realized that something was obstructing its breathing. From where I was standing, I could see directly into the eye of the great fish.
Mammal.
Whatever.
The funny thing is, phylogenetically speaking, it's both. Whales, of course, are mammals, but they're also fish. Because mammals are a kind of fish. That's why we're talking about this.
Standing, I could see directly into the eye of the great fish.
Mammal.
Whatever.
Right, what did you do next?
Well, then, from out of nowhere, a huge tidal wave lifted me, tossed me like a cork, and I found myself right on top of him, face to face with the blowhole. I could barely see from the waves crashing down upon me, but I knew something was there. So I reached my hand in, felt around, and pulled out the obstruction.
What is that, a Titleist?
Kramer was hitting golf balls into the ocean earlier. Anyway, you get the idea. You get the idea. I showed you the whole clip. Apologies to everybody watching in the YouTube video later or in the VOD. That will all be muted. But that's what you got to do with copyrighted stuff like that. But the thing is, there's this idea in the popular imagination, like, people who are maybe not as well versed in biology might say, oh yeah, you know, whales, yeah, they're fish. But then people who know a little bit more about biology would go, no, whales aren't fish. You dingus, they're mammals. The thing is, the galaxy brain take here, I guess, as the kids would say, is that, well, mammals are a kind of fish. So yes, whales are mammals. Or whales are mammals and whales are fish. Because mammals are fish. But then again, there you go, Claire Burr, yeah. And Rahab Mahakala makes an interesting question here. Are mammals reptiles or amphibians? And they're not. No. Here, let's talk about that a little bit. Let's continue on with this clip here. Yeah, when we're talking about human or any other, you know, vertebrate animals' embryology, there's some really interesting things that we can discover.
Summers, I'd spend my time looking under a microscope at embryos. And I was watching,
very funny HD.
at the time, bodies forming from egg to adult. And there's an incredible beauty.
This is paleontologist Neil Shubin here.
In the early stages of development, all animals start as a single cell.
Ontogeny.
They divide again and again.
And Activated Complex says they've got a really good point here, actually. Not actually. They've got a really good point here. I think there's a great lesson there. Science isn't about dunking on someone. It's not. You're right. Haha, look how wrong you are. Oh, now I'm wrong. Exactly, Activated Complex. Yeah. Yeah. Science is about approaching questions in an organized way, testing ideas, and doing all of that with an attitude of humility. We don't know what's going on. Let's approach it with an open mind. The point is not to dunk on people. The point is to discover what's true. And people who want to use science to dunk on people, well, you know, it's not really what it's for. So yeah, I love that activated complex. I love that. Yeah. Let's continue here. Play.
Until gradually a body emerges with a
This is
front,
embryology,
a top, and a bottom.
It became very clear early on in the process some of the most important embryos were fish. Because
and there you go, Trek Nerd. Agreed.
have the basic body plan in their embryos that was
And
to become
Gojira,
our
yeah.
own bodies.
Replicability, admitting oops.
If you see an early fish embryo and a human embryo side by side, you'll see something remarkable.
They look pretty similar. Holy cow. I don't know what kind of fish this is. This is an osteichthyon, some sort of osteichthyon fish. So this is some sort of, have we not pulled up our tree of life yet? And holy cow, Ash Rubber, thank you for those 5 gift subs there. Thank you, Ash Rubber. That is excellent. Yeah.
Sugar really wants ukulele with those 5 gift subs.
Really appreciate that, Ash. Thank you for your generosity. There's 5 people in chat now who are singing your praises because they won't have to worry about any ads until well into the new year. Thank you, Ash Rubber. Holy cow, let's jump to vertebrata here. The vertebrates. Creatures with backbones. Vertebrates. So you'll notice that most of these, well, actually all of these, are fishes. Vertebrata. Jawed vertebrates. Are these critters? Bony vertebrates. Lobe-finned fishes, including tetrapods. Basically, this right here, this group of vertebrates, you could also call this fishes if you wanted to. But the fish that Neil Shubin is referring to is a ray-finned fish here, I presume. An actinopterygian fish. Actinopterygii is the clade name there. Yeah.
They look almost identical. We really do look like fish.
Yep.
Both embryos have a head, a body, a tail, and many other similar features.
And one of those similarities exists in the neck, or what's called the pharyngeal area.
In both fish and people, what you find are a series of swellings called gill arches.
Yep.
Turns out that in fish, those swellings become components of the gill apparatus.
Oh. Oh, I was wrong. This is not an actinopterygian fish that he was referring to here. In that like, this is actually a chondrichthyon fish. Holy cow. This would be up here, some sort of cartilaginous fish, probably like a dogfish or something like that. Yeah. There we go, like this critter here. Yeah. A kind of sharky guy, spiny dogfish. Anyway. Yeah.
People, they become portions of our lower jaw.
Like Ralph. There you go, Claire.
Ear,
You remembered his name.
Part of our voice box. So this is a wonderfully elegant developmental process.
And did you catch that? That was important there. And I just cruised right by it. Here. So, the embryo of a more basal fish, chondrichthyon fish, like a dogfish there. And then a human, they look very similar to start out with. And they've got those gill arch structures there.
Gill arches.
Turns out that in fish, those swellings become components of the gill apparatus. In people, they become portions of our lower jaw, portions in our middle ear, part of our voice box. So this is a wonderfully elegant developmental process, but sometimes things go wrong.
Yeah. What could go wrong there?
your inner fish can come out.
So my kids are really good friends with the Richardsons. One day, I get an email from Seth, their father, who says, "Doctor, my wife's a fish."
I mean, we all are.
I gotta check this one out. We're here for the fish.
The fish is available. It's fresh. Come right through. I think if you go towards the back.
Oh, we'll cut through here. Hey, Seth, is this your family album?
Yes, exactly.
Fancy house. Holy cow.
So you're a fish. Now, first off, if you are, and you're more of a fish than I am,
Yes.
I'm very jealous. So prove it.
All right. But here it is. There's my gill.
Yeah.
Right there. So what happens during development is we all have gill arches. We all develop them. This little pit is a leftover from an ancient gill. And I am incredibly jealous of you, Molly, because you are more of a fish than I am. We're all fish, but some are more fish than others.
That's right. Some just have.
And he's right. We are all fish. Mammals evolved from fishes, you know? I go back just a titch here.
From an ancient gill. And I am incredibly jealous of you, Molly, because you are more of a fish than I am. We're all fish, but some are more fish than others.
That's right. Some just haven't evolved very far.
No, you're the lucky ones. So what's really cool is when you know paleontology and developmental biology, many of the muscles and nerves and bones I'm using to talk to you with right now, and many of the muscles and nerves and bones you're using to hear me with right now, correspond to gill structures in fish. You know, and we see that in fossils, we see that in embryos, we see that in DNA, and we see that in you.
My brother-in-law has webbed feet.
I love your family.
Not related to her. That's pretty funny.
While features
Yeah.
like fish gills have been retooled in their anatomy,
Water's a good place to be.
Oh.
body parts perform the same job but end up in different places.
This is really, really interesting too. Holy cow. Take a look at this. If anybody in chat, have you ever had a hernia? Or have you known anybody who's had a hernia before? Because this segment coming up here, I think will make that make a lot more sense to you. When you understand these things from a paleontological perspective, when you understand the history of life on Earth, these things seem a lot less mysterious. You know? My best friend does. It sucks. Yeah, Steely Dan, yeah. Yeah. And your Nana's plagued by them. I'm sorry to hear that, Nell. Dad had a hernia? Legion? Yeah. It's an issue. And the reason that happens is because of our fishy ancestry. Take a look.
Like testicles.
Yeah. Let's cool it on the jokes, chat.
Here to see,
We're all
some
mature
gunners.
here.
Okay. Fish.
Don't worry about it.
Just, dissect this little guy here.
We're talking about science here, so
Exactly. Yeah, if you could pop that bad boy,
let's
that would
keep
be-
this mature.
Come right out of there.
Oof.
Yeah, you know, so there you see, you know, there's the heart, there's liver, you know, the gonad is right there.
Yeah.
So you know what's funky about these things? Is the gonad is towards the chest, right near the heart. You know, but what's stunning,
Yeah.
you and I, like every other mammal, you know, our gonads started up there and descend down to here.
It might be better where they were. No.
Well, in
Safer
some
that
senses
way.
they would.
Having gonads close to the heart is fine for our cold-blooded fishy relatives, not so
Yeah.
good for warm-blooded mammals. Sperm can't stand the heat, so that's why our testicles have to drop to a cooler place, outside the body. When a human embryo develops, the gonads start deep in the body, just like they do in fish.
And this is how it works. This is not something fanciful. It's just that's how it works in a human fetus.
And then descend through the body wall, mirroring evolution.
Yep. They drop.
But that creates a weak spot in males where our guts can pop through.
Yep.
This leaves us vulnerable to certain kinds of hernias.
You know, you think about what.
And there's other kinds of hernias too that develop in, you know, people assigned female at birth and stuff like that. Like women can get different kinds of hernias also because there's other stuff that goes on too where those organs move around during development like that. But certain kinds of hernias, you know, in cis men are you know, it's more common because that's a process that happens during development. And so those testes have to drop out like that. Does that make sense? Yeah. Kennedy says, my mom had a hernia after surgery. It was tough. Yeah. Ugh. And yeah, having different surgeries also can make like body walls a little bit weaker and can make hernias more likely. Let's go back just a little bit too.
Like every other mammal, you know, our gonads started up there and descend down to here.
And thank you, InGen728, for the subscription there. I appreciate that, InGen. It's good to have you here. And Britt says, fascinating. I mean, isn't that cool? This is one of those wonderful instances where, like, understanding the history of different groups of organisms makes the world make more sense in an immediate way. You know?
Fatality.
Thank you, InGen, for those 24 months. I really appreciate that, InGen. Thank you, thank you. Good stuff. Anything that messes with your abdominals is super iffy. It's true, Gojira. It's true. Yeah.
Where they were. No.
Yeah.
Well, in some senses they would.
Having gonads close to the heart is fine for our cold-blooded fishy relatives. Not so good for warm-blooded mammals.
I don't understand it. When I was born, am I half fish, says Musa Muso? You're all fish, as we all are. You know? Yeah, any like individual quirks that you have don't make you more fish than anybody else. Neil Schubert was kind of joking about that earlier, you know? Yeah. I know I'm taking this super literally.
Sperm can't stand the heat.
But yeah.
So that's why our testicles have to
I'll have an overhead cam eventually in the new office setup. But yeah, Your Inner Fish by Neil Shubin. And failing that, just watch the documentary. Just Google Your Inner Fish, PBS. I'll do it for you. Here. Watch Your Inner Fish. Excellent series. Can't recommend it highly enough. And thank you, Claire Burry. We already have a command for that, don't we? Beautiful. But one of the best, maybe the best paleontology documentary series. I say this as a dinosaur person. They don't even talk about dinosaurs in this. You know? But, yeah.
You know, if you look at what the Nobel Prize Committee in Medicine and Physiology has awarded, other animals mean a lot. If you look at the basic breakthroughs in biomedical science, where have they come from? They've come from people working on fruit flies.
Yep.
They've come from people working on
Talk to
mice.
Balint about that
They've
from
come
Science
people working
Streams.
on corn to understand basic principles of genetics. In fact, 2 Nobel Prizes awarded to 5 scientists over the last 9 years have gone to folks working on Caenorhabditis elegans, a little tiny worm the size of a comma on a piece of paper. Yet that
Yep.
worm is telling us about how our cells are...
And I believe Balint and Lita from Science Streams, they've got some C. elegans emotes. Do they not? Where are those? Banana. Where's their, I don't know if I have them there. Anyway, they've got some, or at least some characters that they drew up with C. elegans.
are programmed to die and how our genes can be turned off in health and disease. I like to think that as we discover cures to everything that ails us, from Alzheimer's to different cancers, that the breakthroughs that will ultimately enrich and extend our lives will in some way be based on flies, worms, mice, and in some cases even fish.
Yep.
I can't imagine a more powerful or more beautiful statement on the importance of our connection to the rest of life on our planet than that.
And that's what paleontology is all about, you know? Yeah.
Fish, reptiles, primates. Meet the ancestors you never knew you had.
Some of the best roadmaps to our own bodies are seen in other creatures.
The story of evolution is stored within you.
Embedded in our bodies is our distant past. Oh, that is beautiful.
Get to know your inner fish.
Good stuff. Yeah. Anyway. Yeah. I'm not even sure how we got here. But, and speaking of arthropods, the comedian Ze Frank has a video on tarantulas that includes a segment about how their fetuses have a similar phenomenon. Interesting, Rahab. That's cool. That's cool. That's, again, this idea that ontogeny recapitulates phylogeny. That just means that, like, our babies look like the babies of our close relatives. So here's a good example. Baby humans and baby chimps look pretty similar to one another in a lot of ways. Ontogeny recapitulates phylogeny. You can take that back even further into
ontogeny.
Humans and fishes, you know? Yeah, these are a little bit oversimplified, but there you go. Fish, amphibian, reptile, bird, human, they all look fairly similar to one another. And they look more similar to one another the closer they are to each other's ancestries. Oh, yeah. Anyway, good stuff. Postcork says, welcome to your new home. Thank you, Postcork. I appreciate that. Thank you for the kind words. It's good to be here. Yeah. Oh, the true facts videos. Oh, gotcha, Lenina. Okay, okay. Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, we were talking earlier about the KPG boundary. Why don't we get back into that? We have gone way far afield, but let's try and collect ourselves again, and let's go back to the KPG boundary here in beautiful Italy.
In Amsterdam,
and thank you, Green Minstrel. I appreciate
the boundary
that.
becomes clearer.
Did I say Italy? Sorry, I meant Holland. I know how often people get those two mixed up. And someone had a question about how far you could dig through the layers, Rahab. Yeah, we'll get to that too. We'll get to that too. Yeah, let's get back to the Netherlands here.
In Amsterdam, change at the boundary becomes clearer when Smit takes a close.
Oh, I wish that my hometown were as easily bicycleable as... Where is this? Somewhere in the Netherlands?
Closer look at the evidence. In his lab, he analyzes forams extracted from the limestone.
Look at those.
Under the microscope, the rich diversity of fossilized shells from the Cretaceous snaps into focus. Some 4 species appear below the boundary.
These are basically
but above it,
fossil plankton.
A different world.
Those are to scale, by the way.
Okay, these are the foraminifera from just below the boundary. And these are from just above the boundary.
They're so much smaller. Holy cow.
Only a few species have survived into the
Amsterdam.
tertiary.
Thank you, Green Minstrel. I appreciate
and they're
that.
much smaller.
As soon as you see that extinction and you realize at the same time that the dinosaurs are disappearing, you know you're looking at something very important.
Very important. Holy
Nobody
cow.
has witnessed it. So we're looking for silent witnesses in the rock, and the first thing that comes to mind is this beautiful clay layer.
Yep.
A layer varying.
And can we get a shout out for Science Streams real quick? Excellent, because Balint just gave us a shout out. I'm seeing this in my activity feed in OBS here. Yeah, excellent. Thank you, Lenina. Good stuff. And Kleber. Yeah, beautiful.
In color and thickness and found around the world. Walter Alvarez also believed it was a silent witness to the end of an era. The key question was, how long did it take to form, for the world to change?
I've met Walter Alvarez. Shoot, I've met him right here. Holy cow. Ah, beautiful. Do you know where this is, chat? Do you know where this is? Holy moly. I'm not even gonna, yeah. It's here, in the beautiful sunny San Francisco Bay Area, which I have recently moved to. Not Italy. Similar climate, though. Maybe a little bit colder here. Just a little bit. But similar Mediterranean climate. Yeah, right here in the San Francisco Bay Area. Good stuff. In fact, that's the... Well, I guess you can't see it. The Golden Gate Bridge would be a little bit further that way. This way. But there's the... Is this the new Bay Bridge? Shoot, did they shoot it that recently? 9 years ago. Might be, yeah. But there is Sather Tower on the University of California, Berkeley campus. Does anybody know what Sather Tower is full of?
1,000 bits can make a wonderful difference in promoting the appreciation and understanding of fossil science here on Twitch.
That's not full of that many bits. Holy
I'm
cow,
very
Legion.
grateful for your continued education. I learn something every time. Keep doing you. Thank you, Sabat Sub. Yes, Sub Dance 1 Cyber.
I really appreciate that, Legion. Thank you. Thank you. Holy cow. Buttons aren't working. Hang on a minute. There we go. Thank you, Legion, for those 1,000 bits. I don't know why that would stop working all of a sudden. But, yeah. Anyway, 1,000 bits is a lot of bits. Thank you so much, Legion. I really appreciate that. Thank you kindly. Holy cow. Good stuff. Yeah, does anybody know what is here in Sather Tower? We've got some guesses. Atoms. That's true now. Bits of stuff, I guess. Displacer says people. Usually not. Swallows, broken dreams, Tradoon, step ones. Looks like a tall coat room, says Claire. What? Dinosaurs, says Emeleth. Not dinosaurs either. No. They're on the Berkeley campus. Here we go. Take a look. UC Berkeley News. This just in.
This is a femur. This is the upper leg bone, a right one, of Smilodon. Smilodon is the state fossil of California.
Saber-toothed cat. That's Mark Goodwin there.
So it gives you an
dinosaur
idea
paleontologist.
These long bones of the size of the skeleton, the size of this animal, and it was one of the major,
This is inside Sather Tower.
Rancho La Brea fauna. I'm Mark Goodwin. I'm the Assistant Director for Research and Collections in the UC Museum of Paleontology. When I first came to Berkeley, one of the first things I did was come to Sather Tower because I wanted to get a view. And I took the elevator up to the observation deck. Honestly, I didn't know there were fossils in bones. I was speechless when I walked into these floors in my first.
So there you go. You've got this concrete in here that's molded to look like bricks and stuff on the outside. That's this tower right here. This is the landmark for the University of California, Berkeley. It's probably the landmark for Berkeley, California right here. Sather Tower right there. It's full of stars. I mean bones. There you go, HD. It is. It is.
Visits.
My name's Lisa White.
There's
I'm
Lisa.
the Assistant Director for Education and Public Programs here at the Museum of Paleontology. The fossils are here mostly because it was overflow. It was a convenient place to store fossils. There was a lot of space, and when I reflect on what the campanile means to different
Campanile
units
Campanile is an Italian word for like clock tower or bell tower. Yeah.
The Museum of Paleontology, there's the...
And Pontius Pirate, I did go there a few years ago. Were you there, Pontius Pirate? Holy cow. I didn't go inside the Campanile, inside Sather Tower, but I talked about it.
Connection with the fossils here. And so while the campus is celebrating the centennial, we delight in taking part as well.
This room is kind of special because it really hasn't changed very much since the fossils were put in here in 1913. You have
so over 100 years ago. This storage space actually predates the Museum of Paleontology, which is nuts.
Horses and camels and
And HD and HB says that looks suspiciously like Danny's new apartment. HD, I kind of love the idea of me streaming from inside the Campanile, inside Sather Tower. It's kind of the paleontologist phantom of the clock tower, Oh, I love that idea, but no. Maybe one of these days, inshallah, we'll do a live stream from there, but no guarantees. Yeah.
Saber-toothed cats, Felis atrox, which is the scientific name for the American lion, giant ground sloths, birds, including condors.
That's a coyote right there.
Vultures.
I've moved that box before. That's a coyote skeleton. These are from the tar pits at La Brea in Los Angeles. There are so many Rancho La Brean fossils in Sather Tower.
Tusks.
And then this is... Does anybody know what this is? What is that? Hint, it's not an original fossil. Nor is it from Rancho La Brea. I'm seeing some correct answers so far. You know what? Yes. Why is our soundboard not working? Whatever. Anyway, ding, ding, ding. If you said ichthyosaur, you're correct. There's that eye right there with the sclerotic ossicles. There's those big jaws. Yeah, it is an ichthyosaur. Yes, indeed. Because, again, this was overflow. This is, I think, supposed to be Symbospondylus. This is the skull of Symbospondylus. This is a cast. You can actually see those bits of white poking out there. Right there where the paint has worn off. But they used to have this on display probably at the old Museum of Paleontology. They just didn't have room for it anymore, so they stuck it up in Sather Towers storage. Overflow.
Elephants that roamed California up to about 10,000 years ago and up to about 6,000 or 7,000 years ago.
Get a physical bell? I like that idea, Rylsey. I could think about that.
If you're from Northern California, you can understand that downtown Los Angeles now looks quite urban. But when you show pictures of what downtown LA looked like 40,000 years
Mastodon
ago,
there.
that there were these natural tar seeps and these large animals roaming around, it gives an entirely different perspective on life in California.
Horses and camels and elephants.
Mary Anning emote. That's a good idea, Golganak, actually. Huh.
Carnivores coming over, and then they would get trapped.
Do a Mary Anning
We have
emote.
a lot of fossils in here. I mean, this is like wolves are us. And you can see
these dire
skulls
wolves.
here. This is the dire wolf. It's one of the big carnivores in the fauna, very abundant. Horses and camels evolved in North America. This is a big camel skull found in the Rancho La Brea.
Look at that. Look at that big honking tooth there.
America. This is a big camel skull.
Look at that tooth. Holy moly. People don't realize that camels have really sharp teeth. Look at that canine tooth there. There's a story that I read a long time ago, a couple years ago, about a camel that literally bit a guy's head off. It's, yeah, oh boy. Camels are perfectly capable of decapitating people. Here, I'll show you the article. It's not TOS, I promise. Yeah. Camel bites owner's head off after being tied up all day during heat wave. This was in India. There was a guy who apparently was wealthy enough to have owned a camel. And just kind of like during a party, he like left it tied up during a heat wave. Camel has reportedly killed its owner after being left in high temperatures with its leg tied up all day. The incident well, actually, the guy couldn't have been that wealthy if he didn't have, like, servants to run out to it, I suppose. The incident in the Indian state of Rajasthan happened on Saturday. This is in 2016. During a record-breaking heat wave that saw temperatures reaching 43 degrees Celsius. According to the Times of India, a man named only as Ujaram was entertaining his guests at his house during the evening when he remembered that he left his camel with its legs tied. Upon trying to untie the animal, the camel attacked him, throwing him to the ground. Over 25 villagers reportedly struggled with the camel for 6 hours. The animal lifted him by the neck and threw him to the ground, chewed the body, and severed the head. That camel was big mad. And when you look at the canine teeth of these animals... Nope, camel skull, there we go. Look at those teeth at the front. I guess it's a dromedary camel, which it wouldn't have been a Bactrian camel. It would have been a dromedary camel there in India. Yeah, they've got some serious teeth on them. Holy cow. Yeah. And you know that song? What's the song, Tia Aurora? And that camel is the most metal camel ever? I mean... There were more metal camels, Lenina. This one definitely deserves a salute for sure, but... the camel skull that Mark Goodwin is holding here in this video.
Horses and camels evolved in North America. This is a big camel skull. Found.
Yeah, that is a big camel skull from... Shoot, what's it called again? I'm blanking. The common name is yesterday's camel. It's got camel right in the name. Shoot, why can't I remember it? It's embarrassing. These guys were huge. They were big animals. Camelops. There we go. Yeah. Camelops. They were like as tall as an elephant. These were big animals. It's funny, the name Camelops just means camel face. And yeah, there you go. There's Camelops is the big one, next to a modern Bactrian and dromedary camel. These guys were big. They couldn't just bite your head off. They could bite you in half. They could probably kick you in half. Yeah. Sheesh, says Bothok. Yeah. They were big. Holy moly. And they lived here in North America until very recently. Just a few thousand years ago. Camels originally evolved in North America. They're an American original, you know? Yeah. And hey, business father, how you doing? That tooth? Yeah, I know, right? Yeah. And Rahab Mahakala, yeah, both horses and camels, and maybe even primates, are American originals. They first evolved in North America. Yeah. Here.
Found in the Rancho La Brea tar pits. This is the big saber-toothed cat or tiger. These skulls here. This is the dire wolf. It's
dire wolf.
Carnivores in the fauna, very abundant. Horses and camels evolved in North America.
Yeah.
This is a big camel skull.
Oh, very cool, you know.
Rancho La Brea tar pits. This is the big saber-toothed cat or tiger, if you will. Just the canine is broken off here, but it would extend about like this. So in order to open its have a lot of movement. This isn't just a dusty old room.
And speaking of Smilodon right there, here, hang on a second. Let me grab that. That one doesn't have the canines in it, but I pulled the canines off of my Smilodon skull yesterday. Let me show you why. Here we go. Smilodon, the saber-toothed cat. Smilodon is our state fossil here in California. The saber-toothed cat. Sometimes called saber-toothed tiger, but they're not tigers. They're not. They're tigers are... what, Panthera tigris, I think? Totally different genus from Smilodon, the saber-toothed cat. Yeah, this is our state fossil here in California. Smilodon. And I have a Smilodon skull that I have 3D printed. Until yesterday, it had these saber fangs on it like that, but I ripped them off. I did that intentionally, and I'll tell you why. These were wrong.
Straight up.
Nope.
They were wrong. They were wrong. They were wrong.
Completely wrong. These... I don't know what the explanation is, but they're completely wrong. Yeah, Claire Burr. In fact, where are they from?
Wow, the land of make-believe.
Yeah. They are from the land of make-believe. As Gene Wen says, yes, indeed, they are way too conical. These are really round in cross-section. Look how round that is right there. Look at that. Look how round it is. They should not be like that. Smilodon did not have conical teeth like that. And so I think what had happened is that when somebody was creating this model, they scanned a real Smilodon skull, because the skull itself, I'm not an expert in carnivorous mammals, but it looks pretty good to me, but the teeth were completely wrong. And so what I did is I went online and I found some better canines, and I got these. These are much more blade-like. These are actual scans of an original Smilodon canine, and look how much narrower they are. And look how much it comes to like a sharp point, right? Or it's almost like a knife at the end, where it comes to this kind of sharp edge like that at the end. It's pinched along that side. So compare that to the ones that I took out, which are just like, they look like banana. It reminds me of like a Tyrannosaurus tooth. It's just ridiculously thick. Smilodon teeth weren't like that. So take this, basura, fuera. Throw that away. We got the new ones, and I will be putting those into our Smilodon skull right here, and we will have a newly improved Smilodon skull. Yeah, I'm excited about that. So I just printed these last night and this morning. I'm excited about that. It is a huge difference, Red Bulwark. It really is. So stay tuned to see this in the background of our stream in the future, given that all of this stuff is modular now. Yeah. And Lenina says, did you update the address on your Amazon wish list? I did indeed, Lenina. Yes. Thank you for asking. Also, I still have access to my old apartment until the 31st. So even if something was ordered before then, I can still get it. Yeah. Thank you, Lenina. Yeah. And Diagonal says, looking at their phylogeny, cats must have entered the Americas multiple times. They probably did, Diagonal. Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, back to Mark here.
Jaw, you have to have a lot of movement. Found in the Rancho La Brea tar pits. This is the big saber-toothed cat, or tiger, if you will. Just the canine is broken off here, but it would extend about like this. So in order to
I just showed you that.
Jaw, you have to have a lot of movement.
Very cool.
This isn't just a dusty old room, even though it has that look, it's actually used. There's ongoing research on global climate change, for example. You have to look at the past. That's why fossils are important. To get an idea of the amount of change.
And yeah, 3D printer is up and running, HD.
There's no better place where you can get the best picture, the best window. You can open up that window with these fossils.
Very cool stuff. Yeah. Why were we talking about that? Because those fossils are being held, and here in the Campanile on the Berkeley campus. So if you ever see, here, let's do a Google image search for UC Berkeley here, you know?
Hold on to your butts.
What do you see? Sather Tower right there. Sather Tower. Well, Sather Tower. Sather Tower, the Campanile. This is the big landmark on campus. There you go. There it is there. And,
Walter Alvarez also believed it was a silent witness.
Talking about the extinction of the dinosaurs and many other creatures.
The key question was, how long did it take to form, for the world to change?
And Harry says that's a good-looking campus. The Berkeley campus, holy moly, is, I think it's one of the most beautiful campuses in the entire world. It's gorgeous, and like, there are parts of it that you can't replicate anywhere else because it's just the geography. Like, the underlying natural beauty of the area is unparalleled. Berkeley's a really special place. It really, really is. It's pretty extraordinary. I mean, holy cow. Yeah, that doesn't even do it justice. When you've got, like, on a summer morning, you've got these beautiful waves of fog that roll in across campus off of San Francisco Bay. You can just barely make out the Golden Gate Bridge in the distance. It's really something. Yeah. Holy cow. Yeah, this is what I'm talking about here.
What happens here isn't magic. It just feels that way.
Oh,
Okay. When people, unsatisfied with the way things are, have the courage to imagine a better way and the freedom to turn what could be into what will.
Anyway, this is all a little self-congratulatory, but what I really like is the geography and the natural beauty of this area is incredible. Yeah, and so this, I think, is actually the view from the Lawrence Hall of Science, which is not too far from where I am. There we go. I love this because this is a live cam view. I think it updates once a minute or something like that. But, yeah, so the sun is just going down. You know, it's wintertime. Winter solstice is approaching. So the sun sets early. But there is the Golden Gate Bridge off in the distance. You can just barely make out. There's the South Tower. There's the North Tower. There's the Emeryville Mole, I believe. This is Berkeley, California. Oakland is over here. The island of Alameda is there. There's San Francisco off across the bay. It really is beautiful. Let's take a look at a time lapse from yesterday. Sorry, I'm just waxing lyrical about where I live, but I just moved and I'm really lucky to have been able to move locally. I can still, still live in this place, and this is where I was born and raised. This is home for me, There's that sunrise, yeah. But this is probably the same camera where they got that shot for that documentary that we were just looking at. Yeah, we're happy you're happy. I appreciate that, Steely Dan. I really do. Yeah, San Francisco there. Golden Gate Bridge. This is a live cam view from yesterday, or a time lapse from yesterday, rather. Time lapse taken from the live webcam. Anyway, you get the idea. There we go.
He sought help at the University of California at Berkeley from a Nobel Prize-winning physicist. Someone he knew pretty well. His father, Louis Alvarez.
Yeah.
Louis loved a good mystery, no matter what field it was in. And that's how physics joined geology in the quest to explain the KT extinction.
Rahab says that must be quite a view in rain or snow. I appreciate your enthusiasm there. It doesn't snow here. It's too warm for that, Rahab. Yeah. If it ever does snow, it'll be for like maybe a couple minutes, and then it'll be front page news. Oh, we got snow. It doesn't snow in this part of the world. Yeah. I forgot about that, yeah. It dusted Oakland a few years back. It did, Claire, yeah, up in the hills for a couple minutes. I think there was like a parking lot in a church or something like that up in the Oakland Hills where they got a little bit of snow. And you were in LA when it rained? What? It rains in LA, Tony. Maybe. It rains here too. It rained here the other day when I was trying to move a bunch of books into my new place. It rained. And that was a pain in the butt trying to move hundreds of pounds of books as the rain started. Oh boy. Yeah, but you know what? I made it work. And the books arrived unscathed. But yeah, anyway, back to this.
Alvarez looked at this layer, tried to figure out how you could determine...
The reason we're talking about this...
He brought in his knowledge of astrophysics.
This is the layer in here. It's in the little pendant that I have on this necklace that I made. That's a sample of this layer.
His knowledge of nuclear physics.
Hernia. There you go, Timmer's crutch, yeah.
That there's an element that's relatively rare in the crust of the Earth that occurs in meteorites.
Yeah.
The element was iridium.
Iridium.
Steadily in an invisible rain of cosmic space dust. If the layer had taken thousands of years to form, Alvarez thought there might be...
It's a paleontologist version of heaven.
Topher, thank you for the follow and welcome to Paleontologizing. It's good to have you here. Thanks for joining us. Welcome, welcome. Let me know if you've got any fossil science questions.
Just enough iridium to measure. But when the clay was tested, the scientists were stunned to find it contained 30 times more iridium.
Holy cow, what the heck? Why would that be the case?
Moreover, samples from other KT sites had similar levels. Too much to come from ordinary space dust.
Yeah.
What could explain so much iridium deposited around the world? Perhaps a catastrophic event in outer space.
A Death Star explosion.
A supernova exploding nearby might be responsible.
There you go, Kennedy. Yeah.
So he asked me if that was possible. And I concluded that there was only one chance in a billion that such a supernova would occur that close in 100 million years.
A supernova would have also deposited a rare isotope, plutonium-244.
Never heard of that, Dr. Drips Respect. Huh.
But testing revealed there wasn't any.
Well, I suggested, alternatively, that it could have been an asteroid or a comet.
There are hundreds of asteroids whose paths cross the Earth's orbit.
Yep.
Their sizes range from a few meters.
I think it's plutonium, isn't it, Cosmos? I know plutonium was bad, at least.
So Luis Alvarez had this hypothesis that an asteroid or comet would cause this destruction. He had the clue, the amount of iridium at Gubbio. Under this hypothesis, it would be spread all around the world. So now he could calculate how much iridium there had been laid down over the entire Earth. Now, he also knew how much iridium there is in asteroids and comets, so he can now calculate the size of the object.
Yeah, it was about the size.
The answer was sobering. An asteroid
the size of San Francisco
in diameter, as large as Mount Everest.
Huge, 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 huge. An asteroid the size, well, longer than the Golden Gate Bridge by a significant margin. Larger than San Francisco. Could be larger than San Francisco plus the Golden Gate Bridge. I don't know. It was big. It was really big.
And weighing hundreds of billions of tons. Still, how could something that size...
that picture? It smells like seawater, doesn't it? Somewhere less? Yeah.
Because traveling through the vacuum of space, it would have slammed into the Earth's atmosphere at 80,000 kilometers per hour.
So yeah, it's not necessarily the size of it that makes it particularly deadly, but also the speed. So it's a big thing, but small relative to the Earth's size. It's true, Pothok, but moving incredibly fast. And it happened to hit in just the wrong spot in order to be able to create this, like, you could almost call it a world-ending catastrophe. It certainly was the end of the world. You know, for 90% of mammals, 100% of the non-bird dinosaurs, 94% of birds, 92% of lizards and snakes, 40% of freshwater fishes, and then these guys did a little bit better. Only about 20 to 22% of them went extinct. Salamanders, crocodilians, turtles, etc. It was a bad day to be an Earthling. It was a really, really bad day.
20 times faster than a bullet, heating the air several times the temperature of the sun.
Oof.
At impact, The energy released would be equal to about 100 million nuclear bombs exploding at once.
Yeah, yowza.
A huge mass of pulverized debris would have been blasted into space, some of it orbiting the Earth before raining back down. The debris may have blocked out the sun for months. Photosynthesis would have stopped. Plants, plant eaters, and then meat eaters would have died.
Gordon Freeman's new documentary. There you go, Steely Dan, yeah.
Was the asteroid
That's
impact
good stuff.
hypothesis for how the Mesozoic era ended.
And Pothok says, now that's global warming. Yeah, got really, really hot, like near the impact site, superheated air, and then globally, it got really cold afterward. Oof.
A big idea that was just too big for some.
Yeah.
When the Alvarez hypothesis was first proposed, it was difficult for many scientists to accept. Because for almost 2 centuries, geologists had crafted their worldview around a gradual picture of slow but steady change in the Earth without major catastrophes.
And this is the thing, is that geology was sort of born out of this assumption that, like, oh, well, all of the rocks, you know, with creatures buried in them, those are all the result of Noah's flood, you know, that buried all of these animals. That's why we have fish skeletons and fossil clams on mountaintops and stuff, is because, you know, Noah's flood covered the whole Earth. And then geologists actually started studying the rocks and realizing, like, that doesn't make any sense. What? No. Huh? So this idea of, like, catastrophism like that, like a global flood, you know, like big single events that happen really suddenly, this was like, geologists are like, no, we left that stuff in the past. That's bunk. That's nonsense. We're not talking about that stuff anymore. And so when evidence actually comes up for a big catastrophic event like an asteroid strike, there's a lot of skepticism about that. And that makes a lot of sense. That's natural, you know? Yeah.
Centuries, geologists had crafted their worldview around a gradual picture of slow but steady change in the Earth without major catastrophes. Now,
and Rahab, I suppose so. Well, from a geological perspective, that would have been really, really immediate, Rahab. But yeah,
come from outer space and rewritten the history of life in almost an instant.
And Pothox is amazing what scientists were able to figure out. Most people don't realize how amazing it is and how much time and effort it takes. Absolutely, Pothox. Holy cow. I hope if nothing else, people who watch me here, you know, like this joker here on Twitch, I hope you have some sort of an understanding of how much time and effort it takes to understand anything about the natural world and how much of a collective enterprise that is. Thousands of scientists around the world working over centuries have gotten us to where we are today. I am one tiny, tiny, minuscule part of that, but I'm trying to understand, you know, dinosaur paleobiology. Just one tiny, tiny, tiny piece of this grand pageant of life on Earth. So yeah, well, thank you, Lenina. I appreciate that. Yeah, and there you go, Godmos. Pipe dream, agreed. Yeah, yeah.
Louis Alvarez got very frustrated when the paleontologists didn't say, yes, sir, thank you for solving our problem.
Yeah.
Many of the paleontologists just looked on him as someone who didn't know their field.
That's true.
And was stepping into this just because it was such a big, important, famous problem.
The controversy would continue for years. To convince the skeptics, more evidence was needed.
Thank you, Legion. I appreciate that.
One criticism of the KT hypothesis was the lack of a crater, the right age, type, and size.
And spoiler alert, we found the crater in the Yucatan Peninsula. Yeah, like, I'll give you a link to this if you want to watch the whole video, because it's really, really good stuff. This is a really well put together kind of mini documentary from Bio Interactive here, HHMI. The day the Mesozoic died, the asteroid that killed the dinosaurs. It's really good stuff. Yeah, there is a general consensus nowadays. You talk to almost any geologist, almost any paleontologist, almost any evolutionary biologist. You ask them, why did dinosaurs, except for birds, go extinct? Why did plesiosaurs go extinct? Why did mosasaurs go extinct? Why did ammonites go extinct? So many different groups of creatures all went extinct at the same time. Why? You talk to almost any scientist in this field today, and they'll tell you, well, I think it's because of an asteroid strike. Possibly multiple asteroid strikes. We're still kind of figuring out some of the details, but yeah, that is the general consensus now. There's still a few holdouts here and there, but they seem to be dwindling. The evidence really seems to be with the hypothesis that an asteroid hit the Earth. Extraterrestrial impact is what did it. Yeah. And Otter Do It says, Danny, this is my most watched channel this year with 162 hours watched. Otter Do It, holy moly. That reminds me what I got to get back to here. Yeah. Good stuff. So yeah, for those of you who are not aware, the Twitch recaps have already come out. Yeah. So let's continue that. I was looking at this before we got some questions, and we went off on a big tangent. But I streamed 263 times this past year. Honor Do It, I think you were here for a good number of those.
Extinction is the motor of substantial change in evolution. If extinction didn't occur, a successful group would dominate and it would last forever.
Hello,
It's true,
Danny.
Tim BTF. I'm doing quite well, Tim.
If dinosaurs had not died, perhaps in some catastrophe, no reason to think dinosaurs wouldn't still be here, wouldn't still be dominating the Earth.
Salvi, thank you for the follow, too. Welcome. Welcome. I'm here in my new space. New office today. Very excited about that. Yeah. So, Salvi, you came in at an historic time. Thank you for the follow. Yeah. Tim BTF says, looks awesome. Thank you, Tim, for the 10 months of support. I really appreciate that, Tim. I really, really do. Yeah. Good stuff. A new office looking great. Thank you, Legion. Thank you, thank you. This is just the start, you know? I've got big plans for this space. Got multiple camera angles, multiple spaces to sit, maybe, even. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. Miss Yvette says, I can see your pipes. Oh. And Niffler, thank you.
I'm really looking forward to the David Attenborough documentary about the plesiosaur discovery in Dorset.
Yeah, Niffler, that is going to be really, really cool, isn't it? I saw some screenshots from that. That's going to be really neat. Holy cow, that short-necked plesiosaur with that gigantic head. Niffler, that's going to be awesome. Yeah. And water pipes is Miss Yvette. No, this is actually... That's a gas pipe. Natural gas. We've got gas heating here in this new place. So I can't just rip that out of the wall, unfortunately. Even though Lordy told me I should have, you know? SV Harkin says, I've watched 369 hours of paleontologizing this year. Holy cow, SV Harkin, that's more hours than I streamed. Look, I only streamed for 263 hours. See? Oh, no, that's total streams. And they average about 5 hours, so okay.
Here's a thought. You could hire a dinosaur to put a swimming pool in your backyard. All you'd have to do is show up for 5 minutes, whop, instant swimming pool.
Atreus.
To celebrate your move. Hope you new creative energy in your new SDPACE.
Thank you, Atreus. Man, I have so many different things in the works. Just you wait. We're going to be doing some new emotes Maybe later this week, we'll see, but soon. And yeah, SB Harkin says you scared me for a minute. Yeah. We'll also be doing some new interviews. We'll be doing new stream segments, all kinds of cool stuff. So just you wait. I'm excited. Yeah. 13, 12. Either way, almost a full year, Atreus. Excellent. Thank you, Atreus, for your ongoing support. That's a long time. 13 months. It's pretty significant. Thank you kindly. Really appreciate that. Yeah. Yeah, back to our Twitch recap, which is now out. People watched 162,000 hours of paleontologizing in the past year. Holy cow. I did 263 streams, which is more than I thought I did. That's actually more than if I had streamed once every week, or 5 times every week. I think that probably is also when the stream cut out and stuff like that. Yeah.
Serious game of paleontology.
And P Obliterator, what a great name. Thank you for the follow. Welcome to Paleontologizing. Yeah. Cosmos says 162,000 hours is 18.49 years? That's crazy. Really? Holy moly. Yeah, 18.49 years. Holy moly. That's pretty impressive. Yeah. Good stuff. Thank you, Cosmos. Thanks for contributing to that. Yeah. I streamed in... Really? I only streamed in 5 categories? That's a little embarrassing, actually. Almost every day I'm streaming in science and technology, you know? But that's okay, you know? I wonder what the other categories were. And then 775 clips. This next year, I'm excited to do more things with Twitch clips, putting them on social media and stuff like that. So let's see if we can double this next year. Or quintuple it. Let's see. 18.49 years, that's almost a whole year. There you go, Mayor Space, yeah. We had an adult child in chat. There you go, Slumber. Yeah. Yeah. My top stream reached 818 viewers. That's not too shabby, I suppose. I think these are probably organic views. I don't think that's resulting from a raid. I think that's people who are just watching because they're watching, because they clicked. This must have been when I was in the field this summer. Because some of these streams garnered a lot of views. Holy cow, yeah. Windy that day. Alright, it says update successful. Is it finally working now? Atrocious interface. Let's see. Let me know if you can see or hear me. Okay, beautiful. Goodness, let's try this again. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Paleontologizing. It's good to have... So, streaming live from the field in the middle of nowhere, Utah, USA, is, it's not always the easiest, but we made it work. Are you here? Glad you could make it. If you're here for the very first time, then an extra special welcome to you. My name is Danny Anduza. I'm a dinosaur paleontologist. You probably know already that a paleontologist is a scientist who studies fossils. So a dinosaur paleontologist, you know, I work on dinosaur fossils. And that's what I'm doing out here. The eastern Utah desert right now, where it's very hot and very busy. Found the stream, Tia? Well, it's great to have you here. Holy cow. Good stream anyway. Yeah. Working with the Utah Geological Survey crew here. Working in the earliest Cretaceous period. The lower yellow cat member of the Cedar Mountain Formation. Rock's about 140 million years old. We're digging up some new species. So, glad you could be here to be part of this. Let me know if you've got any questions. That's what this is all about. So later on, I move down into the quarry, do some digging in there. Outreach. Normally I stream from my office back in the San Francisco Bay Area. New office here today. Talking about new fossil discoveries, talking about new publications, and answering questions and stuff. Pipcat is great, Pipcat. So it's great. Here doing field work, digging with the Utah Geological Survey. So we've got the 2 state paleontologists for the state of Utah. There's Don there with the wheelbarrow. Yeah. There's Jim down there in the suspenders. And then there's Fisher and Ethan. So just a couple days before we left. On the crew too. And we're digging up some probably new iguanodonts, new kind of beaky plant-eating dinosaur. I like from the. We had so many new follows and stuff, but new iguanodonts. New iguanodonts. There's one right there. Beaky plant-eating dinosaur. Yeah. From the very bottom of the Cretaceous, the lower yellowcat member of the Cedar Mountain Formation, about 140, maybe even 142 million years old. The very dawn of the Cretaceous. About halfway through the age of dinosaurs. And Devon on Earth. Fuel alerts are perfect. I'm glad you like those, Lenina. I tried to make those as unobtrusive as it is hot out here, definitely. As possible. Holy cow, it's got to be in the 90s today. Somebody can bring up the weather command. But yeah, anyway, let me know. You get the idea. That's what I do during the summers, and I'm really looking forward to doing more of that. But that reminds me, we had a question earlier. Before we continue with our Twitch recap, I'm really drawing this out, aren't I? How old are the oldest rocks on Earth? Hopefully whoever asked this is still here. But let's talk about that.
SciShow is supported by Squarespace. Whether you need a domain, website, or online store, make it with Squarespace.
Or do it yourself. Either way. Whatever suits you best.
Somehow the Earth has already celebrated its 4.5 billionth birthday. And when you're considering that big of a timescale, it makes you realize that humans have only been around for the proverbial blink of an eye.
Displacer says middle of Australia, isn't it? Yeah, I think the oldest rocks on the surface of planet Earth are exposed in Central Australia. I think that's right.
Yeah. There's no way we could know everything that's happened in our planet.
They go steely down. Yeah.
We roamed around for most of it. But thanks to geology, we don't need a time machine to explore how our planet was born.
Mayor Space says, wait, what is the Earth's birthday? I believe it's in October, Mayor Space, according to young Earth creationists. There we go. The Usher chronology. Young Earth creationists still use this. A 17th century chronology of the history of the world formulated from a literal reading of the Old Testament, of the Bible, by James Usher, the Archbishop of Armagh and Primate of all Ireland. Primate of all Ireland. That. How many other apes did he have to fight to get that? Holy cow. And monkeys and prosimians and lemurs and aye-ayes and etc. The chronology is sometimes associated with young Earth creationism, which holds that the universe was created a few millennia ago by God as described in the first 2 chapters of the biblical book of Genesis. Usher's work fell into disrepute in the 19th century. Yeah, don't tell the creationists that. But, yeah.
They were finding fossils.
And, Paraskievi, thank you for the follow. Welcome to Paleontologizing. It's good to have you here. So, old Bishop Usher deduced that the first day of creation was October 22nd, 4004 BC. There you go. Yeah. October 22nd would be... Oh, evening and morning the first day. I think it's October 24th then? Shoot. Would be the day the Earth was created? Anyway, that would be the Earth's birthday if you want to go with the 17th century chronology. Oh boy. There you go, Mayor's Face. Yeah. And there you go, Codmos. I'm glad you're aware of that, Codmos. Yeah. You know, something doesn't have to be literally true to be meaningful. There are lots of, you know, works of fiction or legends or myths that, like, are deeply, deeply meaningful to people. It doesn't have to be, like, literally true, you know? And talk to any biblical scholar. Like, any serious biblical scholar will tell you that the book of Genesis is not a geology textbook, nor is it meant to be taken as literal historical fact. That's not the way it's written. It's written basically as poetry. Like, if you actually understand the original Hebrew in there, it's not supposed to be like a literal account of events. And if you're reading it that way, you're getting it completely wrong, and that's actually super disrespectful to what that piece of literature is, you know? Try and read it literally. Oh boy. Anyway. How old is the Earth, actually? And how do we figure that out? Let's talk about it.
We don't need a time machine to explore how our planet was born. Instead, we can study the oldest rocks and minerals, ones that have been around 14,000 times longer than our oldest human ancestor. These samples have already shaken up what we thought we knew about the Earth's history, and the very oldest rocks on Earth can even teach us about the birth of the solar system itself. We found all kinds of old minerals and rocks, but in 2014, scientists confirmed that zircon crystals found in Western Australia took home the record. Based on how certain...
Yeah. Who said Australia in chat? Because you were ding, ding, ding correct. Yeah. This is pretty cool.
Within the crystals had decayed, researchers pegged them at 4.4 billion years old.
And how in the world do we figure that out, by the way? Crystals. What's he talking about with crystals? It almost sounds like some sort of new age woo-woo sort of thing. And it's not. We're gonna... You know, we're going to do some incepting here. We're going to go one level deeper, and we're going to talk about the science behind this real quick. We're going to show a video that we've looked at before. Radiometric dating.
Decay of...
There we go.
The carving of Mount Rushmore was completed in 1941, but the rocks it was carved into were completed quite a bit earlier than that. 1.7 billion years ago.
But how do you know that?
Geologists know that. And
yeah.
How do they know that the Earth is 4.5 billion?
It's such a cool answer.
The answer is a technique called...
You can enjoy science as much as you can, and you can't enjoy science alone. You have to share it.
Catatoon, thank you for the 3 months of support. I really do appreciate that. Thank you for helping us all enjoy science through your generous support there, Catatoon. Appreciate you. And how do we know that? Yeah. Given that it's in Western Australia, Pfizer says, "Oh, the crystal ide dingar." No, what are we talking about with crystals here? Crystal, what? They kind of simplify that. Zircons are the actual, like, crystals in question here, and we're going to get into that.
Radiometric dating, which lets us tell the age of certain types of rock. Radiometric dating relies on the fact that certain elements have what are called isotopes. These are versions of the atom with extra neutrons in them. Each radioactive isotope decays at a consistent rate. These measurements give us something called the half-life, or the amount of time it takes for 1/2 of the isotope to decay. When an isotope's half-life is up, half your original element will be gone, transformed into a different isotope. Another half-life and you're down to 1/4 of your original amount. A half-life after that and you're down to 1/8, and so on. The length of a half-life is different for every isotope. If you wait for enough half-lives to pass, you'll have a hard time detecting any of your original material. So to date something relatively recent...
So again, getting into half-life here with Morgan Freeman. You might be familiar with that series of video games with Morgan Freeman, Half-Life. Twitch is a very, like, video game heavy platform. You're probably familiar with this, but you may not have realized that This hit game, the title of it is taken from a real scientific concept. The concept of a radioactive half-life.
You want an isotope that decays.
There we go.
And so let's give us something called the half-life.
The half-life.
The time it takes for 1/2 of the isotope to decay.
And so these are unstable. Think of it like an hourglass. And if I were back in my old office, I'd have a physical hourglass that I could show you here. I don't have that here yet. But you turn an hourglass over, you know, an hourglass. You turn that over and, you know how long it takes for the sand to go through. That's how an hourglass, that's why it's useful. Radioactive isotopes work the same exact way. That's how it goes, you know? And as Pfizer says, the half-life is the time it takes for 1/2 of a radioactive isotope to just decay. Basically, yeah. Yeah. It's pronounced nuclear. Cat. Uh-oh. Yeah. So picture you turn an hourglass over. The half-life of that hourglass is when 1/2 of the sand has moved through it. Does that make sense? Well, the radioactive isotope, that's when 1/2 of it has decayed.
Isotope's half-life is up. Half your original element will be gone, transformed into a different isotope.
That makes sense?
Half-life, and you're down to 1/4 of your original amount. A half-life after that, and you're down to 1/8, and so on. The length of a half-life is different for every isotope. If you wait for enough half-lives to pass, you'll have a hard time detecting any of your original material. So to date something relatively recent, you want an isotope that decays quickly. To go older, you want an isotope that decays very slowly. The term carbon dating refers to dating using carbon-14, which we mentioned earlier.
And I'm trying to place this guy's accent, too. Any people with keen ears for American regional accents? I'm almost getting a little bit of, like, Baltimore here. But I'm not sure. It could be Midwest, Slumber, but could be. Yeah. And a few arts. Absolutely, yeah, shoot. Oh, is Smorf got some new art? Awesome. We can take a look at that in a little bit. Yeah. We'll try and get through this first. We're a couple tangents deep here. Let's try and resurface.
Earlier. It has a half-life of 5,700 years, and most of it will be gone by about 50,000 years. To date things that are older than that, you want an isotope that decays very slowly. Uranium-238 has a half-life of 4.5 billion.
I thought so true, Atreus,
so it can be used to date things as old as the solar system itself. How do we use this to get the age of something? The unstable radioactive element that you use is called the parent, and the stable...
And so parent here, I guess that's supposed to be the dad, unless the mom happens to have a particularly strong upper lip facial hair game. That's a mustache right there. This is the parent isotope.
Stable, happy isotope you end up with is called the daughter. Dating only works...
And the daughter has a smartphone. Okay. This is like... I guess this is supposed to be a joke.
If the only source of the daughter isotope is the decay of the parent. You also need
that's
a
what I
rock
thought.
That behaves a bit like a sealed
Jody
time
fish.
capsule, preventing daughter isotopes from leaving and keeping new parent isotopes from wandering in. That way, if you end up with half daughter and half parent isotopes, you know that one half-life has gone by, since the rock kept everything locked into the same place. Certain minerals form a tinker toy-like cage around any larger isotopes. This locks everything in place and makes for an excellent time capsule. Zircon crystals, for example,
there we go.
Atoms of radioactive uranium inside them, as well as its daughter isotope, lead. So
that is a zircon right there. That's why I pulled up this video. The crystals the other video was mentioning. That's not some woo-woo thing. It's zircons.
So, measure the proportion of uranium to lead in a zircon crystal, and you can figure out when it must have formed. Take this time.
Yeah, so,
old. That means
there we go.
System itself. We found all kinds of old minerals and rocks, but in 2014, scientists confirmed that zircon crystals found in Western Australia
there you go.
the record. Based on how certain atoms within the crystals had decayed, researchers pegged them at 4.4 billion years old. That means they formed less than 200 million years after the Earth.
I mean, it's not that crazy. Like, it makes a lot of sense, but it's really, really interesting that rocks that old, zircons that old, still exist on the Earth's surface. It's pretty neat. It's not Sugnite crystals? I don't think so, Mayor Space. No. Yeah. Zircon holds uranium, isotopes, and lead. It can. Pfizer, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, yeah. Zircon is not like a mineral. A zircon is like a type of crystalline structure, as I understand it. So you can have zircons that are composed of different elements. I think zircon is like the type of structure rather than like the type of element, if I understand. Yeah.
0.4 billion years old. That means they formed less than 200 million years after the Earth did. These crystals grow in magma, molten or semi-molten rock that bubbles beneath the Earth's surface, and are made of silicon, oxygen, and zirconium. The Australian zircon crystals were actually no bigger than a household dust mite, just 400 micrometers in length. At first glance, they don't seem like much, but these...
And zircons are... ZR, silicon, oxygen... What's ZR? They are indeed minerals? Really, Jody Fish? Interesting. Okay. Huh.
Minuscule crystals are almost indestructible, are resistant to erosion, and are capable of outliving the rock in which they were
silicate.
formed. They just kept washing in and out of sediment.
Wait, what's ZR? I'm not familiar with that. ZR... Zirconium is an element? I didn't know that. Well, it seems all the things I don't know could comprise a chemistry textbook. Oh boy. Zirconium is an element. Holy cow. With 40 protons. I did not know that. Huh. Well, well, well. That's pretty cool. Here, let's... I need to look this up. Huh. Let's take a look at this.
From time to time, people give me samples of elements, but it's not very often that I get two samples, and even rarer that I get two samples that are very different. But with zirconium, I've had one sample which is big lumps of metal. This comes from a company that supplies large quantities of specialist metals to customers. The other sample is a very fine powder of zirconium, which was sent to me by a technician at St Paul's School in London. And I've given the powder sample to Neil to see what he can do.
What a cool video.
So Neil, what are you going to do with this powder?
This sample is interesting, first of all, because it's relatively light. Zirconium is in the middle of the periodic table, and so although
40
these
protons.
look large lumps, they're not very heavy. They
Can I feel how heavy?
Interrupting.
Yeah.
Zirconium has one particular application, which is it is used for cladding of nuclear fuel in nuclear reactors.
Huh.
These samples came from Russia, which specializes.
Oh, and if it helps contain radioactive isotopes in like zircon samples that we can date, it would make perfect sense. It would also be used to coat radioactive materials that are used in nuclear reactors. Interesting.
Zirconium. In fact, you may have seen from some of my earlier videos, I have a vodka glass also made from zirconium. Well, it's not a glass, it's a vodka container. And
a shot glass,
when I need cheering up, I drink from it.
Relatable.
The big problem of zirconium is separating it from hafnium. So with my sample came a really quite comprehensive analytical data of all the different elements that they've tested for. And if you look down, these numbers here...
We'll need one of those. There you go, Pfizer, yeah.
Parts per million. And they're all very, very small.
That makes sense, Legion.
There's a tiny amount of
a heat furnace, well, cool.
Or neodymium. But when you get to hafnium, here...
Oh, wait, neodymium? That was the ND right there?
Or neodymium.
Neodymium ND right there. That is a prime component of some of the magnets that are holding up. Ooh, uh-oh, that didn't sound good. Yeah, it ripped off. Yeah, I mean, it goes to show how strong those neodymium magnets are. This ripped off the back of my Archaeopteryx here. But these are what is holding on my 3D printed Berlin specimen of Archaeopteryx onto our new panels here in the office. Good stuff. Yeah, very strong magnets, activated complex. Neodymium magnets. Yeah. Good right there. Nice. Yeah. Aren't those in hard drives too? Neodymium magnets? They shouldn't be, Mayor Space. I try not to keep my neodymium magnets next to my hard drives. Yeah. And keeping them from clanking together at full speed and shattering. Yeah, they're very brittle, activated complex. Yeah. Yeah. And Smorf says your new setup looks nice, Danny. Thank you, Smorf. Shoot, before I forget, let's look at your art here. Because otherwise I risk missing it. Where was that, Smorf? Can you give me a link, actually? Yeah. And you love this? Oh, nice, Lenina. Okay. Yeah, posted them all. Oh, thank you, Smorf. Beautiful. And this is Acrocanthosaurus. Very rosy-cheeked Acrocanthosaurus here. Very nice, Smorf. Very nice indeed. Good stuff. Yeah. Very good stuff. Not biased still? Yeah, Lenina. Acrocanthosaurus is, of course, Lenina's most favorite dinosaur, if I recall correctly. Yeah, Acrocanthosaurus needs love. I agree, Smorf. Yeah. Yeah, very nice, Smorf. Thank you for sharing. Thank you very much for sharing. Is that going to be an emote on your channel now? We give a shout out for Smorf. Yeah, and Claire Burr, what is this? First of all, go follow Smorphosaurus if you like adorable paleo art there. Go follow Smorf right now. Thank you, Smorf, for sharing. And Claire Burr, what is this? Holy cow. This is made for our stream team here. We've got Ios, Lordy, and Paleontologizing. I love how the snowman not only has a sun helmet, but a beard as well. and a shirt like me. Oh, Claire, this is wonderful. Thank you. This is good stuff. This is good stuff, Claire. Oh, man. Rena helped me with the beard and shirt. I appreciate that, Claire. Yeah. You never did that with coffee grounds? Asked Murph. I've never put a beard onto a snowman or a snow woman. Or snow anything. That's a really neat idea, actually. If you're to make like a snow tiger, you could do stripes with coffee grounds. Oh, that's cool. That's cool. I didn't grow up with snow, Murph. I grew up, you know, of course, here in the San Francisco Bay Area where it seldom snows. So that's not a thing that I'm privy to, you know. But yeah. And thank you, Claire, for that other link. Let's see here. And Counterblood, thank you for the follow. Thank you, Counterblood. Welcome to Paleontologizing. It's good to have you here. And holy cow. Wait, is this the one you were trying to pull up, Claire? Yeah, very nice. That's like a British-style sun helmet. Probably a proper pith helmet. I like it. And a Tyrannosaurus skull right there. Very nice, Joe Kennedy. Very nice. You really captured Danny's compactness. It is true. I am less than 3 feet tall. Yeah, for sure. Oh, boy. Yeah. Complete with necklace. Yeah, there you go. Shoot. There is my KPG boundary necklace in there. Very nice. I am impressed. Good stuff. Pocket Danny. There you go. Well. That means I gotta pull this up and save that right now. Along with your other image, Claire. Along with your image there, Claire. Let's see. Put that in the fan art, etc. folder. I'd like to be able to do a new cold open video with all of these at some point. And, yeah, I will add that to the collection here. Yes, very good. Very good. Anyway, we were talking about zirconium, but let's get back to, let's get back to this video, talking about the age of those rocks.
Over billions of years until they were found.
There you go, Lenina, yeah.
But discovering them was about more than setting records. Knowing when, where, and how they formed tells us how the Earth came to be the Earth. They might also debunk some big ideas we had about our planet's baby days. See, we previously thought that during Earth's first 600 million years or so, our planet was all fire and brimstone. We believed it was constantly bombarded with meteors and covered in a planet-wide ocean of lava. Appropriately, that time is called the Hadean Eon, like Hades. And it's when those oldest zircon crystals form. Unsurprisingly.
And so let's go back to the Hadean Eon for a second here. Let's pull up our geologic time chart. So, we're up here in the present. During the Cenozoic era, we're basically within, or maybe even slightly beyond, the black line right there at the very top of this. Those few electrons making up that. Yeah, we're up here in the present. Cenozoic era. Go back into the Mesozoic era, the age of the dinosaurs. And these, over here, are your timestamps. 145 million years ago. That's the boundary between the Jurassic and Cretaceous periods. So I was digging in rocks like 140 million years old or older during the Berriasian, the very beginning of the Cretaceous. This summer when I was in Utah. Many of you saw that. Very beginning of the Cretaceous here. Let's go back further. Jurassic, Triassic, Permian period, before the dinosaurs, Carboniferous, Devonian, Silurian, Ordovician, Cambrian, and then the Precambrian period, Neoproterozoic. But we got to go back even further to get to the Hadean, when Earth was still cooling. That was way back here. Paleoproterozoic, Precambrian, yeah. Neo-Archean. Further and further and further. And there we go. There's the Hadean right there at the bottom. This is like when Earth was still new. When the Earth was young.
Surprisingly, constant meteor impacts and lava oceans aren't the best recipe for any Earth rocks or minerals to stick around. So finding these 4.4 billion year old zircons shook up our story a little bit. It made scientists realize that the Hadean eon might have been less fiery than we originally thought. Because like zircon crystals are really strong, but they still shouldn't have been able to survive those conditions. And that's not the only reason the zircons were significant. The researchers also examined what's known as the oxygen isotope composition of the crystals, or the ratio of heavier versus lighter oxygen atoms. This can help them infer what the temperatures were like when the crystals were forming. Surprisingly, the zircon's composition actually matched rocks from a later time period called the Archean.
Last Friday. There you go, schedule.
Earth was cool enough to have oceans and continents. Together, this suggests that the Earth had actually cooled down enough.
You know, 4.5 billion years ago. Yeah, practically last Friday when I was moving scheduling. No, yeah.
by 4.4 billion years ago to form a solid crust. That's 600 million years earlier than we used to think. The crystals are also a huge point in favor of what's known as the cool early Earth hypothesis. This suggests that temperatures on Earth between 4.4 and 4 billion years ago were actually low enough to sustain liquid water oceans. So not really like Hades at all. Still, these zircons are the only clues we have about this part of Earth's history, and we'll need to do more research to be certain. Nothing's for sure yet. So far, the zircon crystals are the oldest pieces of Earth we've ever found, and they can teach us a lot. But funnily enough, there are even older rocks on our planet. They just didn't start out here. The oldest pieces of our planet are zircon crystals, but the oldest rocks on Earth were brought here from the moon or deposited by meteorites. And those can teach us about the whole solar system. In 1969, a 2 metric ton meteor hit the atmosphere.
So I want to reiterate that part because that's really interesting. Our Earth itself, we can access the rocks on its surface, and some of those are very, very old, like over 4 billion years old. But there are rocks that are even older than that came to Earth from elsewhere, which is really neat.
The oldest rocks on Earth were brought here from the moon or deposited by meteorites. And those can teach us about the whole solar system. In 1969, a 2 metric ton meteor hit the atmosphere above Allende, Mexico. Fragments of the meteorite are dated to 4.57 billion years ago.
Holy
nearly
cow.
200 million years older than Australia's zircon crystals, and older than almost anything else in our solar system.
That's also older than the Earth. The Earth has been estimated to be 4.54 billion years old. 4.57 is even older than the Earth, which is pretty cool.
Among other things, some scientists have used the fragments to try and confirm the order in which elements condensed when the solar system was just getting started. Conveniently, around the same time, astronauts also began bringing back samples of lunar rocks. In 1971, Apollo 14 brought back some of the oldest moon rocks, later determined to be 4.51 billion years old. The age of these samples, much like Australia's zircon crystals, helps scientists infer that our moon formed within the first 60 million years
cool,
after the birth of the solar system. They also show that our moon had a magma ocean of its own, and that it cooled into a lunar crust before Earth's did. So far, we don't have that much insight into how the solar system or the Earth formed, or into why we're lucky enough that our planet can support life. Trying to piece together events that happened more than 4 billion years ago can, for obvious reasons, be tricky. But between the zircon crystals, meteorites, and moon rocks, we have plenty of time capsules to give us a good start. And as we keep discovering older samples, we'll just keep learning even more. So, great news. The SciShow website, scishow.com, is completely updated. We now have an
Yeah, good stuff. And hang on. That guy looks really familiar. Isn't he with PBS Eons now? Science journalist to work for National Geographic. Yeah, we know this guy. He's from PBS Eons.
up-to-date About page with all of our team.
Yeah, good stuff. Anyway, this is just like... they're doing some housekeeping here. So let me share this video link with you. There we go. And Mayor Space says, we have asteroids in our solar system that are practically unchanged since the dawn of the solar system. Save for a peppering of little craters on them from micrometeorite collisions. Exactly, Mayor Space, yeah. Yeah. Pretty cool. And yeah, Jody Fish, it would make sense that the moon would cool faster than the Earth. Yeah. Yeah. And Legion says, thank you. Legion, thank you. I appreciate you. Yeah. Now, shoot, we were going to be We might have to save this for tomorrow, but we were going to be talking about some really interesting news here. I guess we'll have to talk about this tomorrow. First of its kind Tyrannosaur fossil reveals what younglings ate. The predator's Last Supper shows different diets of young and adults, which may have shaped ancient ecosystems. This is, of course, getting into ontogeny.
Ontogeny. Ontogeny.
Yeah. Good stuff.
Ontogeny.
Yeah. So we'll be talking about that tomorrow, it sounds like.
Ontogeny.
I don't know why my Stream Deck is flickering and why it's sometimes working and sometimes not. I might need to consult some web tutorials about that. Figure some other stuff out. We're going to be talking about a bunch of other fossil news tomorrow also that we didn't get to today. But you know what, everybody? I hope you had as much fun today as I did. So excited to be here in this new space. So excited for it to be a little bit different for tomorrow, you know? So with that being said, I've got some more work I got to do tonight. So let's go ahead and wrap things up for this evening so we can be ready for tomorrow's stream. Go ahead and do that. And there's our Smilodon skull there. I'll have to re-record this with the new canines. There we go. And who else is on Twitch right now doing some science whom we might raid into? Go. You know what? Balint is. Let's raid Science streams. Linnea says, thanks for another great stream, Danny, and welcome to your new home. Thank you, Lenina. I really appreciate that. It means a lot. Good to see you landed on your gills in the new environment. Thank you, Fall Machine. Oh, we're going to have a fun stream tomorrow, too. So everybody, tune in for that. Yeah, and thank you to everybody whose noms de Twitch are appearing in our credits here. The cheerers, the followers, the raiders, the moderators, the subscribers, and you know what? Even you silent lurkers. Appreciate you more than you know. Thank you, thank you. Right now, we're going to go tune into Science streams and see what Balint is up to. Looks like he might be on the front page again. Very nice. But let's go ahead and join him here. Everybody take care, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye. See you tomorrow.